Welcome back to day 2 of the Buffalo War Room. Today I got Ryan and Blake joining me. We have some more guys that are going to be joining us momentarily. As round 2 has started up, pick 33, the Packers winning Mika Ibuka. Currently, we're discussing we have a trade offer on the table with the Vikings to move up to pick 37 to get Trey Amos. We would be giving up picks 56 and 62, getting picks 108 in return. It kind of looks like we're siding more towards just pulling off that trade. Caleb was in, me and Jim are in. You guys are like on the fence, but would be fine with it. And Owen, who I thought was against it, hasn't joined yet. So if he doesn't join in time, then we kind of just pull that off anyways. I think. I mean, I guess if he does, I kind of would want him to text the group chat, but he hasn't even texted the group chat though either. So like if he doesn't respond, I mean, we can't. I don't want to sit there and wait. Oh yeah, pick 34 just came in. Gray Zabel from the Giants.
Gray Zabel is still there.
Probably because he's mostly just like he doesn't have the tackle upside, so guards kind of fall like that. Really, we should be eyeing Tennessee. I think that's the big one. If Tennessee takes Amos, obviously, but if Tennessee doesn't take Amos, then Amos I think will be there. I don't see Jacksonville taking Amos at 36 with having Campbell and then just trading up to get Travis Hunter. I'm gonna screen share right now the with quite yet, but I'm in the group chat with everyone, so I'm getting the updates as it comes. But yeah, I think if it gets to 36 and Amos is still available, I'm going to text Minnesota that we're going to take that trade. Just because I don't see or I'll text them as long as Jacksonville doesn't take Amos, we're making that trade, and then we'll have that set up. All right, so then do you guys have who do you guys have in if we do make this trade? Who are your targets to get into round 3 then outside of wide receiver?
Oh God.
Yeah, fair question. I mean, I guess it would have to be for an edge. In what the board looks like.
I mean, I get the UCLA guy maybe.
Oladejo?
Yeah, I'd say
Oladejo, yeah, whatever his name is.
Oh, Seattle or Tennessee just traded. It's Seattle gets 35 and 178. Tennessee gets 52 and 82. That is interesting. I don't see Seattle taking corner with Witherspoon and Woolen. I wonder who they're going to take then. Probably an offensive lineman, maybe, because they desperately need that. But and they went receiver round 1.
Okay, Seattle.
Yeah. So it's getting more and more likely that we are going to trade up and take Amos. I'm excited for that. I'm trying to think. We I guess we got through a lot of the discussions last night, so I don't know exactly what we have to discuss tonight. But I mean, as things roll around, we will continue. Hopefully, Caleb and Owen join soon, so we have more viewpoints, as they're running a little bit late.
Oh, good.
Do you guys have any other potential trade up candidates? I know I had Indy and Denver as potential ones.
I mean, not any of them outside of the ones that you've already talked about.
Yeah, I don't think any edges besides Swinson, but not even Swinson, would be really worth a trade up.
Yeah, I'm just looking at trade value right now. If we did, say we got that pick, all right.
Yeah, I'll pull up the board that we got here.
All right, yeah. If you could pull that up. So right now it's looking like then I think I'm gonna offer Indy. If that goes through to get Denver to go to pick 85, I'm gonna offer them 10 or 110, 132, and 171. Because on the trade value chart, we'd be up by half a point. Hopefully they accept that. I'd even be willing to throw in like 206 or something like that as a sweetener if they say no to that. But hopefully we can
walk away with 2 first-round talents.
Yeah, if we can walk away with 2 first-round talents and then trading up to 85, then we still have 85 and 109 to go and get a wide receiver and edge in that range. I would be pretty happy with that too, while still keeping 4 day 3 picks to go and fill out the rest of the roster. I think that would be the most ideal scenario. I'd be pretty happy with that draft.
Yeah, Jim, we were in pre-show. Jim was talking about how he really wants us to keep all of those later picks. But I'm kind of the mind that what you were talking about, like we aren't going to have enough roster spots for all of these guys, and I don't know. Some people get triggered when you say that, and they still think you should be making all the picks. I feel like that's the whole point of loading up with all this ammo, is so that you're able to make these types of moves and go get your guys.
Yeah, no, that's the exact reason. Basically, we traded Diggs to go and make sure we got 2 first-round guys in this class. That's I think it was Alex saying that last night, or maybe it was Randall. Randall said it last night. We would basically be trading the pick we got from getting Diggs. We'd be using to get 2 first-round guys in this class. That's a pretty good use of resources.
Yeah, you have to feel pretty good about that trade with right tonight and when the real show comes around in a couple weeks here.
Yeah, no, I love draft weekend. It's almost like a holiday for me. So much fun. I watch every minute of it.
Yeah, it's like the one time when like everyone gets to be optimistic, and we know how fleeting optimism is in the sports world.
We can always find, every fan base almost always finds ways, unless you're a Falcons fan last year, to feel pretty happy coming after your draft. I mean, I feel like there was not a single Falcons fan that was pretty happy after they took Michael Penix at pick 8.
I do like Penix though.
Yeah,
I do like Penix, but like after they gave Kirk that money.
Yeah, we on my show, Fifth Down Territory, Stadium Rants, the channel I do with Tyler. He's a Pats fan. He's running the Pats War Room right now, and we were on there with our friend Clint, who's now working with Sports Illustrated, and he's writing for them. Clint had an absolute meltdown on like we did like a 4-hour live stream.
Yeah.
And when they drafted Penix, like he had to go. He got up. He left the stream. He's like, I gotta go, guys. And we're like, yeah, do your thing. And he's like, I had to go out and smoke a cigarette. But we were hanging out with him at the Senior Bowl, and now his feelings have changed a lot now he's on board with
it. Let's see. Jaguars might be interested in a trade. Jaguars guy just texted me, like he wants something, but I'd be pretty surprised if it would be able to beat that Vikings trade. I mean, because I'm assuming it would. I think those teams around there know we want Amos. So, because Jacksonville had a trade with us yesterday and then kind of backed out. Like that was the original. We were talking about sending both seconds for
trading
Amos,
back
like yesterday. Yeah, and then I don't know what happened, but they ended up backing out of that trade. And I don't know if last second they're changing their mind because Amos is available. But
and they would ask for more.
But I guess the Seahawks are taking forever to take their pick. So,
well, I mean, you can be upfront with them and be like, "Listen, we have a competitive offer here, and we're gonna need something."
Yeah, have them bid against each other.
That's what I would do. But I have a feeling they kind of hold the cards though at the same time. Like they know who we want. So, but like I will tell them, like we already have a kind of agreed upon trade. Because the only thing is, though, Jacksonville picks before Minnesota, so they could just be like, screw you, we're going to take Amos. Okay, yep, 36 and 107 for 56, 62, 169, and 178.
No.
Yeah, I think the offer that we have now is better than that.
Yeah.
That's just kind of like that's kind of gutting us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those fifths are very important for us being able to move up like into rounds like 3 and 4. So no.
I'm trying to find the link for the board.
It's in our chat. You just have to scroll up a little bit.
I'm just a little worried since Jacksonville is ahead of Minnesota of them being like if let's see what they respond.
A team cannot draft just out of just to
No,
be
I'm
pity.
saying if they have other offers, like say
Oh
someone
yeah,
else is
yeah.
like if they have other offers to trade out to get Amos, and then I don't think that they wouldn't do that with they would then be having 3 boundary corners. That wouldn't make any sense. But they say Dallas or Philly or one of these teams that also needs a corner that or Tennessee wants to trade back up, or the Chargers, like a team like that is also calling up Jacksonville and then they jump us. So that's the only thing. But because I'm fine with sticking at 56 and 62 and doing that other strategy, I think I'll live with myself if someone out like bids us for 36.
Yeah.
Donovan Ezeraku coming off the board here. Nope,
He was still on the board?
Nope, Donovan Jackson. He missed.
I think the Jags just went Xavier Watts. I don't know who the Seahawks went with.
Ooh, that's a good pick.
See,
I don't know. It says Jacksonville's on the clock. Wait, so yeah, let me text Minnesota. I'm texting Minnesota right now. They said, I think you're on the clock. Are we officially sending the trade in? Yeah. Oh, yeah, because they went Donovan Jackson.
Ooh, the Vikings?
No, the Seahawks went Donovan Jackson. Yep.
Donovan Jackson and the Jags went
All right,
Xavier.
All right, so yeah, I just texted Minnesota. Let's see if he responds. I just said, I think you're on the clock. Are we officially sending the trade in?
Imagine he pulls out.
And again, it would be annoying, but I can live with it due to the fact that
I know, I could too. I'm just like
that's where it's like I'm
you
fine.
finally got us on board just for him to pull out.
Yeah. I mean, he was just responding pretty quickly, so hopefully he sees this. I mean, we have a couple of minutes, but not too much time.
Yeah, we only have 4 minutes.
Oh, they already sent the trade in. All right, we got Amos.
All right. Well,
yes.
Let's go. All right.
Oh, I'm turning the volume up here.
All right, yeah, we officially got Trey Amos.
2.
And
I put Evan Murray at safety 3. I do love Malachi Starks. I think he's been dynamite since high school. It's not a far contrast.
I can mute myself.
All right, I'm gonna text Denver. We good?
What pick did we trade up to? 37?
37 to get Amos. This was the offer I was gonna have for Denver. It was gonna be we get 85, they get 110 or 10. They get 109, 132, and I think I had it as 170. Let me do the math real quick on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what I had it at. Or are you guys good with that to move up to 85?
What was that? Say it again.
We would be giving up 110. No, 109. 109. Sorry, these numbers are off by one. So 109, 132, and 170 for 85.
Yeah, I'd be cool with that. I'd be cool with that.
Okay. All right, let me just make sure this math ends up right, and then I'm going to send it to them.
So this is with Denver.
Yes, this would be with Denver at 85. I let everyone know that we got Amos. If they didn't like it, that's their fault for not joining. Unfortunately, I'm not. I don't really want to be like a dick, but like it's kind of how it is.
You had your opportunity. Time is of the essence.
Yeah, we couldn't sit there and wait for it to pass us up. So
Yeah.
Man, getting Grant and Amos is freaking fire.
yeah,
No, those
That's
are
as
two-
good as the first 2 picks as you can do.
yeah. No, if that happened in real life, and then we were able to trade back in around, the thing is, we might be shying a little bit away from like being super
Who
realistic.
cares? It's
But
fun.
at this point, yeah, the Panthers took Jihad Campbell at pick 8. The Saints traded up for Jackson Dart yesterday when that didn't really make a lot of sense. Now, actually, that actually makes a ton of sense. But that was before the Derek. Like there was people doing a lot of unrealistic stuff, so I'm kind of just here for it to have a little. It's all for fun. So
Yeah, no, that's good.
What pick are we looking at? You said 80 what?
85. We also could do the Colts at 80, but I'm offering 9.
I mean, yeah, selfishly, I want to make another pick tonight.
Yeah. Well, no, I think we definitely have to trade back in to. We now have 7 day 3 picks. We have to trade back into round 3. That's like
Yes.
a must. I will literally text every single team in the 3rd round if it comes down to it to find a trade partner.
Yes. Yeah, otherwise tonight would be very
Yeah,
anticlimactic.
that Giants guy never even responded to me, and yeah, it sucks for him. Oh, I mean, so it looks like everyone's pretty happy with. Yeah, it looks like everyone in our war room's pretty happy with us getting Amos. So, I mean,
at least it's here and you're responding.
Yeah.
I mean, and if they're not, then unfortunately, your opinion doesn't really matter at this moment. We need.
And then who went next pick? Deion
Walker. That's pretty early.
Over.
He went already?
Deion Walker over like Tyreek and Alfred Collins. That's
over Tyreek?
Yeah, so that's a little rich from right there.
Deion Walker.
I like Deion Walker better than a lot of people, but not right there.
I could see it working in like Pittsburgh hypothetically, who took him because he would have the veterans of Cameron Hayward and like T.J. Watt and like stuff like that to learn from, which could definitely help him. So I get that.
This was the pick that they traded back for too. This is the my buddy Tyler is running the Pats war room. He traded up with them and took Luther Burden, and and this is where they land. I think this is their first pick.
I think so. Their first pick being, I mean, all right. If you really like Deion Walker, I mean, you go get your guy. I don't necessarily agree with that, I guess is what I would say.
I mean, shoot, you could have traded back again and got him.
Yeah. No, to be fair, I don't know, like, basically any of the other teams in this. Like, I don't know any of the other guys. I just joined this because, like, I wanted to be in the Bills thing. So maybe the Steelers guy is pretty, like, in tap with other guys, and he thought Deion Walker wouldn't be available. Because, like, I was actually in discussion with the Steelers guy to do a trade. Let's see. The trade I had was I was going to send them first. I want to do a 62, 109, 170, and 173 for 69 and 83, but then they didn't want to give up both 69 and 83. And then I tried doing 62 and 170 for 69 and 123. So we had another 4th to trade back into the 3rd, but then he didn't really like that either. So I mean, they do have a lot of picks in, like they have like 2 thirds in like the first half of the round, so they do have some ammo to go and do some more movement. Deion Walker there did not really make much sense.
Hey, let people pick those kind of let better players fall to us.
Yeah. And then if Denver says no to that trade, I would be willing for Indianapolis. We give up 108. Let's see. I want to see like Yeah, someone in the GM group chat just said Deanne Walker massive reach, but
Mason
so that's
Taylor
20.
off the board next.
Who?
Mason Taylor to the Jets, tight end.
Wow.
That's a Jets pick.
Yeah.
Siobhan Revel to the Chiefs. Fucking
Oh no! Revel to the Chiefs. Oh, I would hate if that actually happened, because then Revel's definitely coming back fully healthy. Him and
Yeah,
Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson is like, because then honestly, if you trust Revel enough, you could move McDuffie back into the slot corner where he's an elite outside corner, but he's even better in the slot. And then you have Revel and Watson as your outside guys. Oh God.
The other way you have to look at this is if we didn't make that move, Trey Amos would have been with the Chiefs.
Yeah, you're right. That just like last night when we wanted to take Kenneth Grant for one of the reasons when the Chiefs were out, like when the Chiefs hadn't traded out, just so Kenneth Grant didn't end up a Chief.
Yep.
I'm just gonna put y'all in
It's a
dreamland.
good. That's a good pick for the Chiefs. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah, no, I mean Brett Veach is one of the best GMs in the league for a reason.
He really is.
He can also go fuck himself.
Flowers are due. And
I mean, if the shoe fits.
No, I mean, I was just gonna say, like, let's go into fantasy land here. Could you imagine first 3 rounds where we get Grant, Amos, and Royals?
That's in the cards. Yeah,
that is like instantly, like no doubt about that would instantly be my favorite non-Josh Allen Bean draft. Like Josh Allen draft, like if you're ranking draft classes, Josh Allen's clear number 1. It didn't matter that even if we got no one else and we still got other good players in that class, getting him just instant yes. Then 2022 is like clear number 2. I think if we ended up with that as our class, I think you could slot that in as like 2 ahead of 2022 or 3 behind it.
Yeah, I mean you can't say enough about the 2 guys that we already have on the board. I mean, those are guys who will be in the starting lineup. This is a guy for at least 4 or 5 years.
For sure.
These are the guys we're going to need if we're going to go get that trophy. And it's tough to get like difference makers, when you're picking at 30. And so this is what's required. And this is like this is like the other end of the alley-oop that we lofted ourselves close to a year ago when we traded Stephon Diggs. This is us coming through with that slam dunk. It was hanging in the air for a while, but feel pretty good right now. It took a little talking myself into it because I did like it. And there's Braden Swinson off the board.
No, I mean that's fine. I wanted wide receiver anyway.
That makes the Amos trade feel even better because we had no chance of Swinson anyways.
Yes,
everything is just falling in place for the Amos trade be even better. We took him away from the Chiefs. We couldn't have gotten Swinson. So
that sucks. But I wanted wide receiver anyway. But Swinson is like the only edge that I like in round 2.
I mean, it's from the sound of it. Brandon Bean and the Bills, all the folks over at One Bills Drive, really are big Landon Jackson fans. I know.
Oh no, I forgot about him. No.
All right, so then the Colts package I just put together, if we want to move up to 80, would be 108, 132, 170, and 173. If Denver says no.
Yeah, if we can get the Denver deal done, I think that'll preserve our capital that we have. But yeah, I'm on the same boat as you guys. I would like to. How would you guys power rank the 3 wide receivers that we've all been talking about?
Would go.
Oh, go ahead. You can go.
I would go Felton, Royals, Williams, but they're all like pretty close.
I would agree with that. I mean, I wouldn't be upset about any of them. Why do you like Ryan? Why do you like Royals better than you like Felton?
Biggest upside in my opinion. Yeah.
You can. They can. You can line him up and like more. He's like a little more diverse.
Like I think right now they're very similar, but I think in the future, I just think Royals has slightly higher upside. I think he's physical. He's got route running. He's very instinctive. He's a blocker, which the Bills love. He's got reliable hands, and the Bills love the Mac or not the Mac. What's their conference?
Mountain West. Yes, we do have success with
Mountain West
guys.
players. Yeah.
Josh and Shakir. I mean, those two guys. Yeah, we do have a Mountain West experience.
Yeah. Shakir's. I live in Tampa, Florida. I went to USF.
Oh, I used to go to Tampa all the time.
Yep. Yeah. It's my. Yep. It's we're also the Bulls, like UB. But there's actually a huge contingency of Bills fans in Tampa. We've got a couple really nice Bills backers bars that I go to. But and at one of them, Khalil Shakir's dad is actually a regular. He goes.
Oh, hell yeah!
Oh, it's pretty sick. I'm excited, like, because I've gone down to Fort Lauderdale for the Miami game twice, but I wasn't 21 for both of them.
Yeah,
I'm excited for
the Thursday.
I want to go to the Elbow Room, so I was there.
Yep, at Los Ola. I was there pre-gaming last year.
I want to go to. I mean, I was there for the when we took the division from them. Mm-hmm. I had that trip planned in like July. And I was saying, like, in July when I bought the tickets, I'm like, this is going to be for the division. I just have that feeling it's going to come down to that game. And we bought them, and we got our flight and, like, our tickets and everything for, like, $800-900 with, like, our room. If we would have waited until, like, the week before, it would have been, like, $1,200-1,300 at least. Because the stakes were so much higher, the price just shot up.
Not because of Dolphins fans wanting to go.
No,
it's a huge thing down there. No, a lot of the like all the season ticket holders sell their tickets to that game because they know they know in their heart what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I was on the I always just get the cheapest seat, so I don't care if I'm on the Dolphins side. Like I don't care to be on like the Bills side of the stadium, whatever. There's still there was a decent amount of Bills.
You're better off in that stadium being on the home side. If it's a night game, it doesn't matter. But in the day, it's an east-west, and the sun shines on the away seats.
Yeah, so no, it did work in our favor that way. Yeah, because I did go for a day game the one time when we beat them 35-0 back in 2021 or whatever. That was the first ever road trip I went
to that game because he didn't play that good himself, but we just dominated them.
He was hurt. Yeah. Oh wait, no.
No, that was just he had a slow start to the year when he had the Steelers game. He struggled. That game he struggled, and then Washington was the next game. And he won Player of the Week because it's just Josh. And yeah, all right, I'm gonna continue to see if there's other trade candidates available. I haven't heard it. I mean, we still have plenty of time. It's only at pick 44.
Yeah, they're moving along pretty quick here.
Yeah,
Travion Henderson just coming off the board.
Oh, my favorite running back in the class.
I'm trying to think of
both Ohio State running backs gone in a 4.
Judkins went?
Yeah, to Chicago.
Oh, Judkins. Oh, because they didn't go Genty. I'm like, I've been mocking. I think Genty goes there. I've been mocking Genty to Chicago since they hired Ben Johnson. I just think that's like the most perfect fit.
They're definitely taking a running back. Ben Johnson does not with DeAndre Swift whatsoever.
No, I mean, I don't blame him. I don't think DeAndre Swift's a top 40 back in this league. I think he's so overrated.
In one of my dynasty leagues, one of my friends actually like last night or the night before tried. I made a trade with him earlier in the year. I sold D Hop for like a second round pick swap, which turned out to be is now 201, and he was trying to get that 201 back from me for DeAndre Swift in a third, and I was like,
no.
I was like, there's no way I'm taking. I'm probably never going to take this trade anyways, but I know they're drafting a running back here. It's like I'll get back to this after the draft happens in 2 weeks, and then you'll see. But my friend Ryan, he thinks he's smarter than everyone else, but he's not.
It's actually funny enough you say that. I am in a dynasty draft right now. It's one that's like you have 8 hours to pick because we just couldn't get schedules lined up.
We run with no clock, but I'm a favorite. I'm a fan of the slow draft.
Yeah, and then I'm not the biggest fan of it, but we also have it paused like during the night, like from 10 p.m. to 9 a.m. But I'm so happy because I ended up with pick 2. I wanted Josh, but I didn't get him. So I went Jaden Daniels, and then I got Herbert because it's a super flex. I got Herbert to fall all the way to me at like the end of
Oh,
the
it's a
second round.
startup. It's a startup
Yeah,
draft.
it's a
Oh,
startup.
okay, then that's different. Yeah, no, like but I was talking about like just the rookie drafts running those
Oh,
because those are usually like 3 to 5 rounds running those with, and then it
yeah.
gives you time to make trades. Darius Alexander off the board to the Colts.
Yeah, and then they have it interesting since it's before the NFL draft. You draft kickers as a placeholder for your draft pick. Whoever like drafted the first kicker gets the first pick. Whoever drafted the second kicker gets the second pick. So far, there's 3 kickers off the board. So like it's interesting. Like like the first kicker went in the beginning of the 3rd round because it basically just means you get Genti then. And it's I wasn't the biggest fan. I would have just rather waited till after the draft, but it's interesting.
Okay,
How they did it.
that's an interesting strategy. Yeah, at this point I just would have waited a couple more weeks to start it up, and so
Yeah.
just waited to see where everyone fell. But that's
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before. That's funny.
And they also did a 3rd round reversal, so like I kind of got screwed a little bit. I had the second to last pick in the 2nd and 3rd round.
Yeah, the third. Yeah, that's usually we did that for our startup as well.
I'm not a big fan of it. I especially since I had the 2nd pick, it kind of screwed me a little bit. But
But, so,
I
but you got Jaden Daniels as your second pick. That's not
Yeah.
not too bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got him in one of my dynasty drafts last year. It was single quarterback, and I had 2 firsts. I had like 110, and I had 106 and 110, and I ended up with Romo Dunze and Jaden Daniels, and I'm feeling pretty good about those ones.
Yeah, and my single QB one, I don't have to think about quarterback for 5 to 7 years at least because I have Josh. Like, I got him at pick 2 when we did the startup. Like, we're going into year 3 of it. So when we did the startup, Mahomes was still like the fantasy like top. So he went 1, and I got Allen at 2, and then I just built like a really disgusting team through like trades and stuff. Where it's a 10-man, but I have Josh, Bijan, Nixon, Olave, Godwin, Amon-Ra, Nico, Puka, Shakir,
A lot of good young
George Pickens, and still the 108. Like I still have a 1st round pick to go and get another running back.
Yeah, that's a lot of good talent. Good talent. That team's going to be formidable for years.
I was the number 1 team scoring all year, averaged over 100 and like 50 or 60 points, and like in the regular season, and then in the second and like in the semifinals, my team dropped like 100, and I lost to a team that had a losing record in the regular season. I was so mad, and then the following week, I was the highest scoring team in the league. I would have won it all, but like of course, the 2 weeks prior to that, highest scoring team in the league. Then in the semifinals, lowest scoring team, then highest scoring again. I'm like,
I was that team that basically did that to you in one of my leagues, and I like limped into like the last playoff seed, and it was a tied record for the last spot, so it came down to overall points for the entire year.
Yep.
1.1 point difference for points for. I ended up making it to the final, and I took down the top seed and then lost in the final.
Funny enough, that happened to me in my one league. I just got ravished by injuries, but I still had some good players. But like it was like half my lineup was injured. And then I started out the year strong and then like limped into the playoffs, made it by 5 points, and then went on a run and ended up winning the whole league. My team just got hot. And like I picked up Isaiah Likely before the fantasy playoffs. Mark Andrews is injured, so he was getting like 25 for 3 games straight. And like my team got super hot, and yeah.
Carson Schwarzenegger off the board here.
Oh, and Darius Alexander.
Oh, that's a really solid pick.
I feel like the Colts are more and more likely. The Colts, I think, really will definitely do that pick trade or that trade I send them, because I was texting the guy. He really wanted to trade out because he wants more draft picks. He said that like the Colts GM like never has this little of draft picks. So I think that pick for 80 makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna wait more, but if we start to hit a while and the Denver guy does not respond, I'm sending that one to Indy.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so like as far as the receivers, I have like Royal slightly above the other 2, and then the other 2 are basically tied for me.
Yeah, he's probably a little more versatile and better long term. I like what you're saying there. Yeah, I feel like Felton's probably the player profile that we're like kind of looking for.
Yes.
for our wide receiver room. But I don't think you lose too much sleep if you get either of those guys.
Also, just the fact that Talbot's used the words Bills are very interested in Royals.
Yeah, he's a good follow. Yeah, I mean he came when I was on this past Tuesday when we were we were setting up the board. He hopped in there and he was honestly had a lot of similar opinions with us. But yeah, but yeah, he would tell us the Bills really do like this guy. It's for real. And yeah, Landon Jackson was one of those guys he was talking about.
God, I hate Landon Jackson with a passion. No offense
I
to
don't
him.
I don't hate Landon Jackson. I don't love the upside, but he does have value. I don't really if we took him in like a third round, like we say we didn't trade up both seconds and we ended up going like corner, D tackle, wide receiver, and we traded back into the third round and got Landon Jackson, I
Then
would be okay
yes.
with that because I think he could this year he wouldn't make much of an impact, but then the year after, then we can let Epinesa walk and we kind of fill in that Epinesa role.
Yeah, no.
And I
For
think he could
me,
be
it
better
was
than that.
because people were literally suggesting him in round 1.
Oh yeah, no, I'd be pretty mad.
I'm sorry. Even round 2 is a stretch for me. I'm like, round 2, I can semi get it. Like,
Yeah, I could.
okay, at least.
If it said 62, I could be like,
Yeah, I'm
okay, I'd
like,
give it like a
okay.
C plus, B minus, but
But round 1, Bean can go fuck himself. I'm like, no, thank you.
I don't think he would do that. He usually is pretty good with the not pissing off the fan base that much round 1, except for I guess last year with the trade. But I actually didn't hate the trade, and I still think it's a little overrated. If Keon doesn't get injured, I think him and Xavier Worthy have similar stats.
Yeah,
Like
I
both,
didn't care about the trade. I was just so madly in love with Brian Thomas Jr. that it.
Oh yeah, me too. I wanted to trade up that second for. I wanted to give up our second to go and jump whoever it was to get BTJ. I'm like, let's please do it. And I was talking to Caleb. Caleb didn't. He's like, no. He's like, he loved BTJ, but he didn't want to trade up. He's like, we can't afford to. We don't have the picks.
Yeah, a lot
I'm
of people
like,
didn't, and look at us now.
I'm like BTJ would have been more valuable than Keon Coleman, Cole Bishop, and Dwayne Carter combined, which is basically the 3 players we drafted with like the trade back and the like. Yeah, I would have rather had BTJ than all 3 of those players.
BTJ is better than any receiver in this class outside of Travis Hunter.
I would say he's better than Travis Hunter.
Really?
Yeah, I think BTJ, you can make an argument, is the second best receiver in last year's class, and last year's class was an elite receiving class. This year's a lot weaker.
Yeah. No, I agree. I freaking
He's a pure receiver, but like I mean,
because I think Tet is still a better like receiving prospect than Travis Hunter. You gotta remember
Really?
Hunter did get to play with Shedeur, which whether you don't like him as a prospect, he was one of the best quarterbacks in college last year.
But they had a shit O-line.
But they were a pass heavy team.
Yeah.
Tet got to play with, I forgot his name out of Arizona, but
his quarterback's not bad.
He's not nearly as good as Shedeur.
Not nearly as good as Shedeur, obviously, but like.
So like it did make it harder. Like he had, and also Arizona didn't have any other good receivers. Colorado has a couple other receivers that are at least draftable. That takes a little bit of the pressure off of Hunter, where you can't give as much attention to him because those other guys can beat you. In Arizona, you can double tap, and doesn't really matter. And I think
if Hunter had devoted all of his time to wide receiver, he'd be wide receiver 1.
Yeah, I can agree with that, but just because he's also like playing, I think he's definitely a better prospect, obviously, than Tat. I'm not arguing that. But with him playing corner, I would rather have Tat as a receiver, and then I'd put Hunter 2. And then I'd also put Hunter at CB2. I still am extremely high in Will Johnson. He's the cornerback I would have wanted to Buffalo if like in a magical trade-up scenario. Like if he's probably the number 1 guy in the entire class that I'd want. Because
Hunter?
well, I mean, yeah, but like out of like top 5 picks, Will Johnson is the guy I'd want because imagine him and Christian Benford for the next 5+ years. That would be something. That secondary instantly becomes elite.
Mine is Matthew Golden.
Yeah, I think Matthew Golden's going to turn out to be really, really good.
Matthew Golden gives me mix of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle into one.
That's
I don't.
that's a statement
That's
right there.
that's spicy. I'm not sure I totally agree with that, but I do. Golden is probably my wide receiver three.
He's slightly slower than Hill, which gives me more Jalen Waddle, but he's faster than Waddle. He's like in
I
that
like
middle.
the Waddle comp. Yeah, I like the Waddle comp. I mean, to be fair, Golden's game speed isn't as good as his 40 speed, so I think I like the Waddle comp a lot.
Yeah,
Like no one expected him to run a 4.29. They expected him to be in like a 4.3 range, but no one expected him to run that fast.
he's
But
just so good.
for me, like realistically, there's only 6 guys. 3 of them are trade ups. 3 are sit at 30 guys I'd want to take. The trade ups would be Golden, Barron, Will Johnson, and the sit at 30 would
Aaron,
be
really?
yeah,
How-
because
How
I
far?
You
think
think he projects as an outside?
I think he does, and also Tehran in 2 years we're gonna let him walk because of his age, and then you can slide Barron right into that slot guy.
Yeah.
He can. I think he can play. I think he can be like.
I mean, I think he's special for sure. I'm just
I
like,
think
I
he
don't know
kind of
where
reminds me a lot
exactly
of.
projects.
He reminds me a lot of Trent McDuffie. I mean, everyone thought, oh, McDuffie's kind of a slot guy, and then we saw him this year transition to outside, and he was just as good.
I would
So.
agree, except Barrett on the outside has slightly less fluid hips.
He is a little bit smaller too, but him being a CB2 and how good Benford's like strong suit is he's better against those bigger like physical receivers. So then you
I just
have
hope
Barron, who's a
Benford
little
can
bit
stay healthy,
smaller,
man.
who's better at like the smaller athletic route running guys. I think they kind of match each other pretty well.
Yeah, I just hope Benford can finally stay healthy. That dude gets injured.
Well, he gets unlucky, I would say. He only
Yeah,
missed like 2 games last year, just happened to be the Chiefs game and I
yeah,
think the Chiefs game
I know.
or the Titans
It
game. Like
sucks.
it was it. I wouldn't call him injury prone. I just call him unlucky. Like it's not like he's injured
I know.
all
I
year
wasn't
and then.
labeling him as injury prone. I'm just
I've
like,
seen
I
a
just
lot of
hope he can
Bills
stay healthy.
fans label him that. So, and I'm like, you
No,
can't really say
I was
that.
surprised with how I was surprised Bernard was able to stay healthy all year too.
Yeah, I mean he battled his little injuries here or there, but I think with a better D tackle around him, I think he will stay healthier and be even better.
We have had some bad luck with the guys that we pay big money to getting hurt shortly thereafter.
That's why I love at least how Bean sets up contracts where it's like easy outs. Where like he backloads the contract, but then the final year of the contract is like there's no guarantees, so it's not even like we can cut him easily. Like all those like Shakir, Bernard, or really the ones like a Bernard or Benford, if injuries start to plague them, you can cut them kind of easy after year 3 and like save a bunch of money.
Yep. Yeah, you're right about that. Now I'm just thinking about like literally like Milano, Trey White, Von Miller. So yeah, hopefully we got our bad luck out of the way. We definitely need Bernard and Benford to be staying healthy.
Yeah, I think part of that could also come down to some of it's luck, like that Milano and Trey White's and Von Miller's, they're all like ACL broken leg injuries. Those those are just unlucky. They're not like injury prone. It's not like they're pulling hammies and quads every year. But I also think part of it could be with our new training staff. It seems they're putting a lot more effort into that, which could help guys stay healthy in that regard too.
I also really like our new defensive tackle or defensive line assistant.
Oh, Dolphins take Marcus Embaugh. Bengals take Tate Ratledge.
Hey, Ratledge, wow.
I think that's kind of did anyone ever take dude from Alabama, the guard from I can't think of his name. Yeah, I don't think anyone took Booker.
I don't think I've seen him come off.
So taking Ratledge over Booker, that is interesting to say the least.
So how long do we want to wait before we go ahead and are we still waiting to hear back from Denver? I mean, I guess they have their pick coming up here, so they're. I mean, I guess we still have a fair amount of time.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think by the end of the second round, if we haven't gotten an answer from Denver, I'm gonna text Indy.
Perfect.
And then I think we just make that as that'll be our pick, and then we'll kind of be good. We'll be good from there. Yeah, then we'll still keep because I don't want to give up one. If it's give up 108 and 109, then I'm looking, and then I would be like, no, and I'm going to look for someone in the 90s. That's why I want to
Yeah.
do it at the beginning of the third, so I have more time. But
Mm.
if we can do, I do 2 fourths, just only one of our early fourths, because that other fourth is valuable to getting whoever drops out of like if Paul, I guess, but realistically no, or an edge or someone drops, then
Yeah, I know Jim's a huge fan of his. But yeah, I don't know. We're in this mode now where we're going after these real difference makers, and that's what I'm hungry for.
I'm also very high in Dorian Williams. I think he is already a very, very good run defender, and he improved in pass coverage last year. He's still bad at it. He definitely needs to get better at it. But if he can even get to average with how good he is as a run defender, I think he could definitely play really well next to Bernard. They're kind of opposites. It can kind of be like almost like our next Milano Edmonds type situation, where like Bernard takes a lot of the difficulty, the difficult assignments, the bigger pass coverage zones, and he just kind of unlocked Dorian to go use the athleticism to go make plays.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sure you saw the interview with Bean recently. That someone asked him who the biggest badass on the team was, and without hesitation, he's like Dorian Williams.
Dorian Williams is like the only player I've seen just tackle Derrick Henry one-on-one in space.
That's what you need with him, Mike.
Exactly, and that's why it's nice Milano being healthy. Like we can just the way we played the Ravens last year, we'll play him again this year, just with a better talent.
And that's
Like
why
we had to put so much pressure on the run because our D line was so bad. And improved D line, we can still put 3 linebackers out there, but less pressure, and then they won't be able to gash us as much as in the pass game.
Yeah, for sure, and that's where Trey Amos comes into play. We were lucky that they were without Zay Flowers.
Yeah, I mean for sure.
And the Chiefs were without Rashee Rice.
Yeah, but we were also we were out without Benford in the Chiefs game, but we were in a rebuild year.
Yep, that is worth noting that that was our rebuild year. And
like the Chiefs lost more than us. They lost like a Joe Thuney and a couple of like defensive. They lost more than us, and we gained more than the Ravens. Like we were able to gain more in free agency in the draft than the Ravens do. And we both, like us and the Ravens, both basically brought everyone back. The Chiefs lost players, and like they're kind of like the middle team. Like the Ravens didn't gain much, but they didn't lose much. We gained more.
It was pretty massive for them to keep Ronnie Stanley. I think that was really like the re-signings don't always get the same hype as the signings do, but that was absolutely massive. I didn't think they were going to be able to make that deal work.
That was definitely a steal to get him at 20 mil, especially when the way the tackle market went up. Like Dan Moore getting 4 years, $80 million from Tennessee. Yeah, like he got 20 mil. Like Stanley could have gotten 30 at that point.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a steal. But they didn't really gain like anything. Like the best player they added was Wash to D-Hop. The Chiefs lost more. They lost like some depth receivers. They lost Thuney. They lost some defensive linemen. They lost Justin Reed. Then they don't have as many draft picks as us, and they didn't go out and spend as much in free agency as us. Like they didn't get, they got some decent players, but like they kind of were nickel and diming. I mean, we nickel and dimed a little bit, but we were able to get Josh Palmer, Joey Bosa, Ogunjobi, more impact guys. So while yes, we got lucky that the teams we faced last year in the playoffs are more injured, we were in a rebuild year, so I think it kind of balances out.
Yeah, that's a good take. So nothing's going to really happen to Xavier Worthy. It doesn't look like he was. He still maybe be suspended. I don't know.
It looks like she made that stuff up though. So like I'm gonna let him pass because it looks like she's just crazy and made it up. As from what I've seen allegedly, I don't know. I hope Rashee Rice, even though I have him in multiple dynasty leagues, I hope he gets suspended because he definitely should. I mean,
yeah,
that was
Yeah, because he was out injured last year, but he could still be facing suspension.
Yeah.
No, they're basically, well, a lot of times, unless it's like something like really really bad, like the Ray Rice situation where they just instantly slapped him with a suspension. Usually they wait for the legal process to play out before they do anything. So sometimes it takes 2 to 3 years from the act for the suspend. Like Von Miller, he got suspended the year after. Like it was 2023 where that stuff came out. He didn't get suspended until 2024. Like a lot. So like I think Rashee Rice probably gets hit with one this year. Probably like a 6 game is what I would expect. And then the Seahawks went Azariah Thomas. Oh no, they never mind. It was a mistype. They went Kevin Winston. I really like that pick for the Seahawks.
So I guess we'll see what Denver does here. This is, I mean, sort of a trickle down big pick for what we have planned.
Yeah. So yeah, the Seahawks went Donovan Jackson and Kevin Winston, and then who they go in the first? Oh, and Golden. I mean, if that is like the Seahawks draft, that's actually like a really good draft. I'm still pretty high on Kevin Winston. I really liked him going into the year. I know he battled injuries and didn't play a lot, but I still really like him. I like Donovan. I think Donovan Jackson's a good fit there. Matthew Golden's the perfect DK replacement. I know it's like a mock, but that's a really good draft for them.
Yeah, you were talking about Matthew Golden earlier. We're all pretty high on him. If he fell, how in like the real draft, how far up do you think we'd be willing to move?
Anywhere in the 20s, I'd move up.
I wouldn't be willing to give up a second for him, just because it's not a glaring need like CB and D in one tech are. Like I'd be willing to give up like a second to go get like a Jahdae Barron or Will Johnson, even probably not for Kenneth Grant, just because I'd be fine with Harmon or Nolan. But I would be willing to give up like 109 and like 169 or something like that to go move up to like 24, 25. That's probably the highest I'd go.
I think he would be one of the biggest needle movers
Broncos took running back. Yeah, he would be that offense, this would be pretty nuts.
Matthew Golden would be our answer for the next 10 to 15 years. I'm guaranteeing it. He's the safest wide receiver prospect I think you can go with. I think he's going to be unreal.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a similar deal with BTJ. Like we would love to see him fall. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going to be gone before it's really becomes something.
Oh, my friends still get pissed at me because I will never let BTJ go, because I was so like I needed Bean to do that last year and he did not, and I still never let it go that we didn't, because of how good he was this year.
Yeah, it's fair.
I want to give it a little bit of time at least. Keon was injured. If he continues to develop,
I love Keon. I got on board right away. I wasn't mad with the pick.
I hated the pick. I got up off my couch and yelled. I was pissed. I've warmed up to it more, but my thought is I want to at least give it a little bit of time to see how Dwayne Carter and Keon Coleman play when they're healthy and when Bishop actually gets time.
Yeah.
I still think either way that none of them will even be close to BTJ. But before it's like, oh, we really missed there, I want to wait and see how those guys develop. If they all develop into quality players, then it's like, all right, it's like, at least we didn't really, like, get worse with that. Like, we got good players out of it.
Do you guys want to know my history with wide receivers? This is kind of what pisses me off sometimes when the big networks try and come at me, because I'm not like, I'm not like Cover One or anything like that.
Yeah.
So each year I have my guy at wide receiver. So, sometimes there isn't anybody that speaks out to me, but most years there are. The first year I really got into the draft stuff, my guy who I wanted the Bills to take in the first round, DK Metcalf. How did DK Metcalf turn out? Pretty good.
All
right.
His detractor.
After that was the year we traded for Diggs. Up until we traded for Diggs, my guy was Justin Jefferson. How did that turn out? Because everyone thought he was just going to be a slot guy. I thought he could play boundary. I thought he was amazing.
My guy
was overshadowed.
My guy in that class was T. Higgins, which isn't bad.
Which also panned out. Yeah.
Yeah. But I won't hate the Diggs trade. It made sense a lot of the time. He wasn't crucial to Josh's success, but he sure helped in the development. That's why, like,
for
I hate
sure, for sure.
the extremes on both sides of that like debate are so wrong. Like, oh, Diggs did nothing to help Josh. No,
It's a happy middle.
Diggs helped. Yes, Diggs helped Josh's development. But as Josh showed last year, Josh didn't need Diggs. Diggs helped, and I'm glad for everything he did. But
Josh also got the best out of Diggs.
Yeah, exactly. Like Diggs was not even barely a Pro Bowl receiver, and then became a first team All Pros first year with Diggs. Like,
yes, yeah.
The amount of receivers that had their career year playing with Diggs or playing with Allen, Mac Hollins, John Brown, Cole Beasley, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis was terrible in Jacksonville. Like, there's a lot of guys that like look better because of Josh Allen.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much all the guys that we let walk last year, Bean made the right decision on. We caught so much shit for it from.
Dude, I was ready. I was never on the Gabe Davis wide receiver 2 train, but
I was. But
I know you were. We talked about this yesterday. I mean, hey, like I get it because he did have upside. I just didn't see it. But
yeah, he made his whole
gone now.
And I was on him. I wasn't on him because of the Kansas City game. I was on him from the Colts game.
Because the Indy game,
that game. And like, I don't know, just the flashes I thought he could have developed, and he didn't. It's whatever.
Yeah, good guy. Like
we got a 4th round comp pick out of him, so that's good value.
So thank you, Gabe Davis, for that.
Yeah.
The Kincaid draft, Addison was my guy. My comp to him was OBJ.
What about 2022, the Elam draft?
There was really no receivers that year, weren't there?
No, that was what was the was that was the Garrett Wilson. Yeah, that was like the Garrett Wilson. Chris Olave.
Oh, okay, then yeah. Wilson and Olave were my guys. Garrett Wilson was probably one of the safer draft like I thought he obviously had upside that he's shown. I just thought he was safe. I thought because he got insanely better at each year at Ohio State.
And with how good of a route runner he is, it kind of at worst you have someone who can always get open.
And if Olave had a quarterback who didn't throw him hospital balls, Olave would be a top 15 receiver right now. Book it. He is that good when he's healthy.
What do you think his value is long term at this point? Now that he's had all these concussions.
If I already are you in our war room on Twitter? Did you see the trade I proposed?
Yeah, with Olave for 40 for
because it got me thinking because we were talking about trade back with the Saints yesterday. And I'm like, I would immediately do it. Pick 40, Chris Olave, and pick 93 for pick 30, pick 132, and 206. If the Saints are that needy for a quarterback.
I've been a big Chris Olave guy. I liked it too. Obviously we couldn't have made it at the time since we were going into day 2. But no, I've been a big Olave guy. I think with a better quarterback that won't try and murder him with every throw, I think it can make a lot of sense.
He's so good. I mean, I know it's just like a pipe dream for it to actually happen.
There went Booker to Tampa. That offensive line would be. I mean, they already have a really good offensive line. You go and add Booker, but yeah,
didn't that one really good guy retire really early though?
The center Caleb Jensen or something Jensen, Ryan Jensen. Yep, there it is.
Wasn't there another guy who had a really weird name who retired very early? I thought it was on Tampa.
Maybe. But yeah,
he was one of the top offensive linemen, and I was like, I don't know. I saw him retire early because I always picked him in Madden because I'm like, he was really good.
Young.
But
yeah, Princely to the Titans, Booker to the Bucks, TJ Sanders to the Packers.
Princely this early, okay.
Yeah, I actually see.
I like him as a player. He's pure. He's going to be pure pass rush. He has no run game.
Or someone like TJ Sanders. Like, there's a lot of D tackles I liked in this class that I was just like, the Bills better not draft though.
Prinsley has a lot of character concerns, though.
TJ Sanders, Omar Norman Lott. I think they're both going to be good players. I don't want them anywhere near the city of
Isn't
Buffalo, though.
Omar? Yeah. Oh, isn't Omar 3-tech?
Yeah, and TJ Sanders. I don't want to. I don't. If we draft a defense, unless it's Walter Nolan, if we draft a defensive tackle under 300 pounds, I'd be quite mad. Quite
Yeah.
mad. Unless
They
it's like a 5th or 6th round double dip guy.
Oh,
Then it's like I can be like,
this. I forgot to ask this in the chat, but probably the most what's the word? Varied in terms of ranking prospect is gonna visit the Bills, and I was curious what you guys think of him, Shamar Stewart.
who? Oh, I love Shamar. There's no chance he'd be there at pick 30. That would have to be like a big trade up. I think he goes top 15. Just because I think that seems like something Atlanta would want to do. The athletic upside just seems like such a Falcons pick.
I know. I was surprised he met with us. I'm like,
he reminds me a lot of Trayvon Walker, and Trayvon Walker has been very, very good in the NFL. He's extremely underrated just because he's not as good as Aiden Hutchinson. And everyone hated the Jaguars taking him at the time. He's developed into a very good player, and I could see Shamar Stewart being similar like that. Just elite athlete, has shown a lot, but needs to clean up the technical side. If he can clean up the technical side, like sky's the limit
get some
for him.
production.
Yeah, I went to the Senior Bowl this year, and he was absolutely nasty at the Senior Bowl. He left after day 2 because
him and Mike Reed, they're like, I'm going to dominate dip.
Yeah, pretty much. And his agent's like, yeah, your floor is 20. Get the hell out of there. But we were talking quite a bit about him in our show, Fifth Down Territory, this past Tuesday. And I like him. The biggest issue that some of my co-hosts Tyler and Louie had with him was him not coming up with that many sacks. I think he only had 1.5 sacks. But he did lead the team in pressures. So I'm a little bit biased with what I saw firsthand. I like Shamar Stewart more than a lot of other people do.
I think sacks, especially in college, is a terrible way to, like, I get what you're saying, like the 1.5. I think it's a terrible, even in the NFL, like when Bills fans, Greg Rousseau sucks. He's never even had 10 sacks in a season. He was 10th in total pressures last year and was a top 5 run defender out of all defensive ends. It's kind of like Shamar. He had a lot of pressures and defends the run elite.
Yep. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
So I personally think like Greg Rousseau is a top 12 defensive end in all of football. Because I think if you can get some actual defensive linemen around him that don't suck against his pass rushers, like if we stop playing DaQuan Jones, something like that, where Greg Rousseau comes around the end to get pressure, we have someone else in his face, so the quarterback just can't run away from Greg Rousseau like we saw so many times last year.
I think in 3 to 4 years' time, I think Mike Green will be a top 5 edge rusher.
Yeah, people are
Mike Green is him. That dude is the definition of a beast.
Yeah, one of the plays of the entire week was him blowing up Josh Connor, who just came off the board. After when he did that, that was one that just turned everybody's head.
He is a beast.
Sicko, yeah.
Wait, who just went? Pick 50. Josiah Stewart went pick 57 to the Panthers.
Yeah, Ezra Thomas with
there goes
our first pick.
So yeah, Morrison's still there. Like if Morrison was somehow able to fall to 109, I don't think there's any chance. But everyone's scared of his medicals. I would take that in a heartbeat and then start dancing. I am so high in Benjamin Morrison. That hip injury doesn't really scare me that much, if I'm being honest. I trust NFL doctors and stuff to judge him and be able to draft him accordingly. And I just think he, when healthy, is the 3rd best corner in this class. But the medicals definitely drop him.
Yeah, I took him in one of my mocks and was getting roasted for it a little bit from some people. I also grew up a Notre Dame fan, so Notre Dame's got a few really good players in this class.
Yeah.
I really like Jack Kaiser on day 3.
I
Backer.
what I really like also when I was kind of in the mindset at one point, like just I wasn't thinking about Knox taking a pay cut. I was saying, oh, we're gonna have to cut Knox next year because of his contract. Then I thought about it more, and I'm like, he can just have him take a pay cut. But when I was in that mindset, I was really in on taking Mitchell Evans. I think he'd be like the perfect replacement for Knox if we hypothetically cut him because he can block and he's like a possession catch receiver that has some vertical upside, and I think that would be a really good tight end too.
Yeah, we could potentially take another tight end on day 3. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, and there goes Jaden Higgins to Houston.
So who is you if you guys could have like a top 3 just favorite prospects, regardless of position, regardless of the Bills' need, who would y'all's top 3 be?
Ty Felton, Kenneth Grant, Benjamin Morrison.
I like it. What about you?
At any position,
Yeah, any position doesn't need to be for the Bills.
I mean, yeah, we already talked about Matthew Golden. I would put him on there. Interior D line. I like Derek Harmon a lot.
I like Harmon a lot too.
And then probably thinking like I want to try to think of someone who like wouldn't be in like the first round. Yeah, I like both Amos and Hairston a lot. I know you were saying you don't like Hairston. So
I like Harrison.
I just don't like how Harrison can't tackle and has the character concerns. And I get like Morrison kind of has tackling issues, but I feel like Morrison's more of a willing tackler and just has technique issues. Harrison, it kind of just more seems like he just dives at legs. It doesn't even seem like he tries as much to tackle. And like I think Morrison's more of like his tackling issue is more fixable than a Harrison. Harrison seems more of like an effort, but like I don't hate Harrison. I just don't really love him as being our CB2 next year. Oh, JT Tumalolo to the Ravens.
yeah,
I would say
I love his speed. He's got the length, but I think we made the right move going with Amos there instead of sitting back and waiting.
I like Amos. Yeah. I would probably say, I mean, my top 3 would probably all be at the same position. So I'm gonna try and go. I'll go top 5 for variety. I would go Golden, Grant, Johnson.
Will Johnson?
Yeah.
Yep.
Royals. And for the one that a lot of people disagree with me on, I saved for last, Luther Burden.
Yeah, I would have to. I mean, I guess as a player, not so much as like a Bills fit, I'd hate it, but I do get the upside to him. Like, I mean, he is a playmaker.
Like, I don't even think he's like that much of a strictly slot player as people make him out to be. But I get it.
I feel like there was some effort issues last year at Missouri. I get like quarterback play was bad.
His quarterback.
Yeah, so I don't see him fitting on the Bills really well. I don't think
we're picking him. Yeah.
But I guess let me redo mine. My favorite prospect is Ashton Jeanty. I love that. I've been Ashton Jeanty since I watched that Oregon game. I'm like, this dude is on another level. I'd go Jeanty 1, then I'd go Ty Felton 2, I'd go Grant 3. And then I'll go with some sleepers, Sean Dolock, because like the UB connection, and then Tommy Hill out of Nebraska, just because he reminds me so much of like how Christian Benford was overlooked because you think he can't play man and because he's not very athletic, but he is great in zone coverage and very smart. And I think you could develop him. And I think like that's like my ideal double dip corner would be taking Tommy Hill.
Yeah, day 3 at running back, I really like LaQuint Allen out of Syracuse.
Oh, okay. I've taken him in a lot of drafts actually.
Yeah. I got to interview him at the Senior Bowl. He's a super nice guy. Yeah, he's a great pass catcher, good blocker. I think that he's going to be a steal for whoever gets him. I think his game's going to translate really well to the NFL.
I mean, I guess a pass block, like a receiving back, doesn't fit, I guess, as well in Buffalo because we already have two very good of them with Ray Davis and Ty Johnson. But I get you're saying is like a player. Like, I do like him as a player. I don't know how much I love him as the fit in Buffalo, though.
I mean, outside of Genty, my favorite running back prospect is Henderson by far.
Yeah, he's got that just upside too.
Burner, pass catcher, blocker, just
he
everything
can do
you
it all.
freaking need in a running back.
And everyone's got to love Cam Scatabo too. I mean, that dude he just runs people over. It's just awesome to see. It doesn't matter who you are. You can be 300 pounds. He'll lob his shoulder to you and try and run you over. I mean, you saw the Texas game. Texas got some big boys, and it didn't matter. He was just bullying everyone on that defense.
Yep. I'm rooting for the best for him. I hope he's not another Zach Moss.
Here's a thought. Dylan Fairchild at pick 60.
Wow.
We were talking about him yesterday being like a day 3, like offensive lineman we drafted in like the 5th or 6th round.
What pick are we at? 60?
60. I think I'm gonna offer that trade to Indy.
Yeah.
And then if all 3 receivers are available at 80, I'm gonna go. I'll go see if I'll do a trade with the Raiders that look like they are talking about trading up.
Did we offer
trade
Denver
back to
yet?
97. Yeah, Denver just hasn't responded. I think the dude that runs Denver is like running a lot of like different like he's running like the whole thing. Like he's making all the posts for all the picks. So I think he's pretty busy. So I'm gonna send
Indy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it 109, I think? 132, 170, and was it 173, I think? That sounds right. All right, let's see what he says. And then if we do get 80, I'm going to talk to Oakland to see if they want to trade up.
That's a good strategy. I like that.
Because the Raiders don't want to trade back, but they are willing to trade up, and that way we can kind of replenish more of those day 3 picks.
Yeah.
And that's only if all 3 of receivers are available. If only 2 of them, we're just taking whichever one we like more because I don't want to risk it. But if all 3 are available at 80, I think one of them's available at 97.
Oh yeah.
I'd be willing if we're at worst, like the highest I'd go for to get pick 80 would be 109, 132, 169, and 170. I'm not giving up both their top 4ths though. I don't think that's good value.
I agree.
Let me go to hypothetically if we were to do Vegas. If they wanted to go from 97 to 80, what's the spot difference? About 20 points, I think. Yeah. About 18 points. So then where does Vegas pick again? The Raiders do not have a lot of picks. It does not appear. So trying to find them in this thing is not super easy.
Trey Harris off the board. Vikings back up with what would be
my golden boy.
Now that I think about it, the Vikings got their second round pick back. The Vikings got their second round pick back in our trade since we have their second round pick. Trey Harris to the Commanders would be that receiving core. McLaurin, Trey Harris, and Debo.
Harris is one of my favorite prospects. Trey Harris is one of my favorite prospects.
I really like Trey Harris too.
Major DK vibes.
Yeah, loading up.
Okay, so
that would be a pretty scary receiving core. They got Zach Ertz back for another year, who was actually really, really good last year.
Okay, I would do 80 to 97, and 97 with 143 and 180. It's not the greatest value. I think we lose out on like just a hair in like the trade value chart. Actually, let me look at that. Maybe not. No, actually, it's about even. It would be about even. But the only thing is, then the Raiders they have such little picks. I guess if they say no to that and they want picks, I would throw 206 in there. Because then basically we would be sitting there with 1/4 and then like 4/5, I think is what our trade would be. If like we made those two trades hypothetically. Or like an earlier sixth or yeah. There's a lot of ways we can go around. Hopefully Indy responds. I mean, they didn't trade 45, so I'd be pretty surprised if they didn't take our trade. Because the trade they sent would have been we give up like in a hypothetical when I said we were trying to get another fourth, where it would have been 80 and then like 151 or 176 we get from them, and then 109, and then like 3/4 and like 169 or 170. But I would rather just take out a fourth, like their fourth and fifth swap, and then just add a fifth because I don't want to give up all 3/4. Like I'm definitely not doing that.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the right move.
The Vikings take Jonas. Sabanyea. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Oh, hello,
How are we
Owen.
doing, gentlemen?
Doing all
Was
right.
good.
Right now, I'm trying to make some discussions. Right now, we're targeting Indy. He's consulting his warm room right now, but it's looking promising to get to 80. Where we were going to give up 109, 132, 170, and 173 to go up to 80. And then I was going to text the Raiders. If based on how the board falls at 80, if there's still a lot of guys we like at 80, I would trade back to 97 to try and recoup some of that value.
What do we think when we predicted to land there?
We were predicting wide receiver, but I know we were talking to Jim earlier, and he said you really want edge. So depending on what edge is available, we might think about that too.
Yeah,
We can kind of have a discussion. I just want to make sure we get back into the third round first.
Yeah, there's looking at the trends with Bean specifically. So, he always ends up with a third round pick, and he usually trades with his fourths. So I would probably be in line with what he does. What edges have gone so far? I've been trying to keep an eye on the stream.
Swinson sadly went.
Swinson, Princely, JT Tumalo, and Josiah Stewart.
So doing this predictively, if we get up to 80, we could land Landon Jackson. That seems like the Bills are heavy into him.
Yeah, I think if we're at 80 and Landon Jackson falls, or the dude from UCLA falls, we could think about them.
Yeah, both of them have been heavily brought in by the Bills.
And then we were also talking about Jalen Royals, Kyle Williams, and Ty Felton because the Bills have also been connected to them, and we just all personally really like them. But that's where it's like we're thinking if we're sitting at 80 and like four of those guys are available, it would make a lot of sense to move back to 97,
And
recoup some value, and then one of them should hopefully fall in those like 17 picks.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But I'm waiting till I officially get 80 before I text with the Raiders because they were looking to move up. They just they don't have a lot of picks, but basically the offer that I kind of made in my head was we give them 80, we get 97, 143, and 180. So then we'd be basically sitting with picks 97, 108. 97, 108, 140. What number was that? 143, 169, 177, 181 or 180, and then 206 would basically be all over day 3.
Gotcha.
If we hypothetically moved back down to 97, the Colts guy just got back to me, so said he's consulting his war room, but it looks promising. So I have a feeling that trade's going to happen.
Here, I'm actually going to pull up this. This is the live mock he posted in the chat, right, for our war room chat.
Yeah.
Because I have my big board up as well, so I'm going to pull it up. And
do you want to put the big board in the chat or like screen share it or something? I could stop screen sharing the draft, or do we want to keep the draft up?
I'd
we
like
can do
to
either
keep it
or.
up. It's easier for me.
That's how I think keeping the draft up is easier, but
Okay.
I can still share it, and then we can always discuss it after that.
Yeah, and like if we're getting close to our pick or whatever, we can you could pull it up. We could discuss a little bit, and then I still, even if I'm not screen sharing, I still have the draft pulled up as a tab on my computer, so I could. Oh, there goes Landon Jackson.
Well, I mean,
KC.
I like
Knows
Landon
that.
Jackson, but no offense, I'm just not a Landon Jackson guy. But
It is pretty predictive though. I could see the Bills ending with him.
I know it is, which is why I wasn't mad at it. But now that he's gone, I'm kind of like, thank you. Like,
Now you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
yeah, I'm like, I would have been fine. I'm very like open-minded. Like, I'm very open to suggestions. But
Yeah.
Jackson
Yeah, we had
tea.
a nice discussion earlier about the Amos trade. We were kind of 50-50 on it, and then towards the end we all decided like to just go for it, like make the big move.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that trade?
I was very pro it just because we were still ending up getting a fourth, which we're actively trying to manipulate to get up back into the third. And the way I viewed the way the Bills are entering this draft is that there are only two real spots that you're aiming to add talent to that are like genuine holes for your roster, which is one tech rotational piece and then cornerback too. So yes, it is great to have 3 swings at the bat between round 1 and round 2. But I think having 2 top 50 players, each of them hitting your major positions of need, we only have 2 big issues. Then you can then manipulate the rest of your picks. You know, we're still gonna end up drafting like 6-7 guys. Everything else is kind of a secondary need or just added depth and added, upside to positional groups that don't need immediate impact right away. Even like the edge and wide receiver, we talk about adding to those positions where, yes, adding a day 2 pick or a round 2 guy to either of those rooms is going to help the team in some way or the other. But I don't think any of those are going to help us as much as one tech or CB. And if you can land 2 guys that I'm more than comfortable having both of them with first round grades at 30 there, that's perfect for us in filling what we need. So if we did that and did nothing else the rest of the draft, we landed Grant and Amos. Following that, even if we picked, some like guys out of the German football league for the rest of our picks, I'd come out of this draft thinking we were set for what we did at the top of it to be confident going into the season with the rest of our roster.
Yeah, you basically had the exact same thought process as me. It was, let's go and use our picks to go and get a top guy at each of our 2 holes. So, all right, I'm glad you're on board with that. It seems like we were all ended up being on board. We were all kind of like we wanted to do it. Some of us were a little bit against, but they were like fine with going. So we all seem pretty happy with it. So that's good.
Yeah.
So then we still have like 7 or 8 picks or whatever left. I think we still have 8 picks left currently, 3/4.
Yeah, considering the meat and
3/4,
potatoes of this draft are 2nd through 4th, like I'm more than fine giving away those later picks to get a 3rd.
We have 3/4, 4/5, and a 6th. So and hypothetically, we do have some picks. We have 3/7 next year. I'm not saying we're going to throw them into a trade this year, but there goes Ojale. All right, so
edges are gone.
It's looking like
pretty kibosh discussion.
I just realized Alfred Collins is still available.
No, I think he might have went off the board earlier. It's in this round. Maybe I'm wrong. I think he went. I could be wrong.
Deone Walker went in round 2?
Yeah,
he went above Alfred Collins.
Oh yeah, Alfred Collins went to the Cardinals. That is actually that is a really good pick.
Wait, when did Tyleek go?
Tyleek went to the Chargers at 43. I did not know the Cardinals getting Alfred. I love Alfred Collins because he's just an absolute monster in the run game. If we don't end up doing the Grant Amos thing, and we end up with Alfred Collins as our one tech, I would be very, very happy. I really, really like him.
I like Collins too.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at your big board. I guess let's see who's the best player left on your big board.
So just for frame of reference, the
Probably
big
Ben
board is
Morrison.
based off of film alone. So things outside of like character red flags or injuries. The only real position that factors in injuries is like running back, just because that one is heavy in usage.
Yeah,
So most of these grades are going to be based off just what I saw on film and how I evaluated that, as opposed to any of the surrounding circumstances.
it looks
Right.
like the best guy on your board left is Ben Morrison, and then you have a Umanor as your top receiver. Um, do you think
Iomanor?
he's a good fit? Yeah, I Manor. My bad. Would you rather like knowing the type of receiver the Bills are targeting and the type of receiver the Bills want? Would you want us to take a human or I terrible pronouncing his
Iomanor.
name over
Yeah.
Io Manor over like Royals and Felton, or would you rather us go with Royals and Felton?
I think what pissed me off watching Iron Manor was I was not a big Keon guy coming out of last year's draft. Iron Manor does very similar things to what Keon does to win when it comes to contested catches, winning with size, and getting up the field. He's not a burner in any sense. He was a track guy out of Canada, but he didn't. I don't even know what he ran in the 40. I should check it right now. I have a Combine Pro Day sheet up in front of me. But he's not someone who's going to be like a field stretcher. You're going to be worried about taking the top off defense. He's going to be winning in that same way that Keon does, where he will go downfield, but mostly to win through contested catch situations down the field against smaller DBs, not so much winning with speed. So if they're going to look for someone like that, I don't think that Imana really fits that need. He ran a 4.44 in the 40, which is faster than I thought he would. He doesn't play with that level of speed though. He struggles to create separation even downfield. Where he really excels is like body control, contested catch situations. The meanest run blocker you'll see in your goddamn life at wide
Which
receiver.
is always, I mean, that's always fun to see. And watching a wide receiver just plow over a corner like Keon did too.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was Tariq Woolen in the Seahawks game. That is always going to be something I enjoy.
I've had Io Manor off my board the whole time strictly because of his profile and what the Bills would most likely be looking for.
Oh, and one more question about the receiver room. Out of the three that we really like, how would you rank them with Royals, Kyle Williams, and Felton?
So grade wise, I have Royals ahead of. Let's see here. Where is? Oh, okay. I have Kyle Williams, then Royals, then Felton. They all fill different kinds of roles. They're all the similar kind of archetype of a speed receiver down the field. So I can definitely see all three of those filling that need for the Bills and what you want. With Williams, he played a lot of outside, but where he won while he was at Washington State, it felt a lot of reminiscent to how Khalil Shakir is utilized in the offense right now, because he would flex inside to the slot at times, or he would run a lot of the similar route trees that Shakir would win. And while he does have speed, it's not like the defining trait he uses to win on tape. It's a lot of route running. He gets the ball in his hand. He uses that to threaten and complement his route running, his speed, that is. But it's not like he uses that and is a deep threat constantly when it comes to the tape there and his production. With Royals, he had a lot of plays where he was gimmicked up touches and was used in like the gimmick touch game, screen game, jet sweeps, things like that. Similar to how the Bills use Isaiah McKenzie. So he does have the speed to threaten down the field, and he did attack down the field at times. But being at Utah State, they didn't really have this super developed way to utilize the wide receivers. When he was running actual routes, it was slants, some go balls, and then working back down the stem using the speed. So he didn't really have the most refined route tree there. But he does have the speed that was utilized in his route. So if you're looking for somebody to attack down the field with straight line speed and was utilized like that in college and is more effective of it, I'd say Royals is more that than Williams is. And Felton, while I'm not the biggest fan of Felton, just because I'm not a huge fan of his route running or his contest, like a lot of the stuff outside of his speed and run after the catch ability, I think is average. So I'm not like, if you're going to get a guy in like the late third or even early fourth, having a guy who wins down the field like Felton does, because he does. He's like, of the three of them, he wins the most when it comes to using his speed to get downfield, stack corners, and get behind the defense. He's up there with Royals for the run after the catch. They're both pretty similar there. I just think his hands, he had like 8 drops in 2024. He's not the biggest when it comes to contested catch. He's a little undersized. And his route running he was asked to run more routes than Royals was, but he's nowhere near like Kyle Williams level. So for the Bills specifically, I think Felton archetype or how he was used in college would be the best for what they are specifically looking for in their specified role in that offense of what we are projecting for them to look for. But I don't think he's like the best all around receiver or top end receiver right now of those three. But I think for what the Bills look for, he's probably what I would tend to lean towards, in that group of three.
That's kind of
Yeah.
kind of what I was saying. You honestly put it way more eloquently than I would put it. But no, that was
a Humanoid just went off the board, so we don't have to worry about that
Thank
anyways.
freaking Lord.
Yeah.
And
But
Shamar
him
Turner.
to the Chiefs is awesome.
I agree with everything you just said, Owen.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad we're in lockstep. I felt bad because everyone was talking about Felton in the chat, and I'm like, I'm not the biggest fan of him as like a player. I even rewatched him, so I watched him a few months ago. We did for the Draft Professor, we did a wide receiver rankings episode, and I had him as one of my best deep threats in that class. And I had a certain grade on him, and when I rewatched him, I didn't really notice this is like last week, so I wasn't really different from what I originally thought. I felt pretty similar to where I originally had my grade in and my eval in on him. Which was a little lower and a little not super high. And I was even talking to somebody today when I was at UB for my scouting job. I was talking to somebody else who had Felton as like wide receiver 5. So we were kind of discussing that, and I still feel pretty strongly about how I have him as an all-around receiver. But specifically for the Bills, he would be, if you were doing a Bills-specific big board, I think he's higher up than some of the other options that even I have graded significantly higher than him.
He's the player profile that they're really looking for.
100%.
Yeah, I agree.
Charles Grant is such an Eagles pick. That's an elite
they-
Eagles pick right there.
They gave up a lot for him, though.
Oh wow, yeah.
Well, actually, here's the thing. Now that the Browns have 96, I'm going to go text the Cleveland Browns guy and see if he wants to make a trade. The Broncos guy got back to me. He said throw in a future 4th, maybe a 7th. He just offered 85 and 208 for 109, 132, 169, and 170 to move up to 85. Let me see what I offered the Colts. That's honestly less than I offered. That's less than I offered the Colts. So I'm gonna say I'll hold off for right now.
What were the selections?
To move up to 80 or 85, we would get 85 and 208. We'd give up 109, 132, 169, and 170, which is more than what we would be giving up in the Colts. And the Colts were moving up to 80. So
yeah, so it's basically from moving up to 109 to 85. You'd have to make up 24 or like 26 points of value.
Yeah. Which is what 130, which is what I offered him was almost even on it. But like, if I can't find any other trade offers, I would be willing to accept that trade, even though I think on value we lose it a little bit just because I really want to move back into the 3rd round. But I want to field out other offers first because I think that our other offers are better.
Yeah. The reason I have Royals even as a better fit than Felton is because I project in terms of play style and what they did at college. I know the offense was very vanilla at Utah State. But
he said my offer is off by like 25 points. We must be looking at different charts. So sorry for cutting you off.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. I just think his down the field route running is on par with Felton at least, if not slightly better. Contested catches, I feel like he's also better. Reliable hands, really good blocker, which I know the Bills value as well. Especially losing a guy like Matt Collins. And the quarterback play. I mean, I know Maryland wasn't great quarterback play, but Utah State literally had nothing throwing him the ball. That's why they had to use him uh, as a lot of screens, a lot of short passes. But I like all three. I would be fine with any of the three. I just think Royals is a slight tier above the other two based on upside.
I have Royals graded higher than Felton, and I pulled up both their profiles I have here. I do a little like a summary at the end of it, just kind of summarizing what I've seen and adding in all the different elements of the
hmm
grading scale. So for Royals, I said he's playing well down in the Senior Bowl, explosive athlete, is a gadget receiver who's capable of breaking long plays, either by using his speed to stretch the field en route or by showing off his running back like qualities as a ball carrier out on the boundary and in the screen game. Twitchy player is able to use this to win against press by out athleticing the corner, has make you miss footwork and twitch with the ball in his hands, has made one-on-one tacklers miss in space in a phone booth, shows natural hands snag ball away from his frame, not letting the ball get into his chest, brings versatility as a returner, a slot option, and with the ability to make plays with the ball in his hands, gets a ton of cushion as a receiver due to his speed, allows him to win on in-breaking routes and short stops, generates good separation, but is more out of a corner precaution than technique than him winning against corners. His route tree is limited, and he primarily gets the ball in gimmick touches to allow him to win with his strengths. Doesn't have much of a release outside of being a better athlete, not running the press. Isn't that willing of a blocker and his pull up early on deep runs, almost allowing DBs to catch up. Has a slot. His slot IQ is okay, but not NFL security levels. Hands struggle with contact, and his overall game struggles when challenged with corners who can be physical with him en route at the line of scrimmage, the stem, and at the catch point. He's a player who is at decent. A player who is at decent being a receiver will be limited to a slot role when a traditional receiving play is called. Will make his money returning kicks and getting design touches in an offense that plays to his strengths. So that was my summary on Royals there after I watched which games that I just closed it out without reading the games. I watched him against USC, Boise State, and New Mexico were the games.
Oh, do you project him as a Z or a slot?
I personally think he's going to be a slot at least immediately because he did show struggles with that contact and dealing with press at the line of scrimmage. When he was able to get more free releases, when he was playing on the outside, and corners were able to give him cushion because he has that speed to burn them deep, he was able to function fine as a Z. When he was actually challenged with corners, which he's going to get challenged with a lot more in the NFL because there's going to be guys who can match his speed while still being able to press on the outside. He'll struggle a little bit, I think, right away at least. So I do think his way to earn touches and way to earn snaps on offense initially when he enters the league is going to be in the slot or as someone who's going to be used in motion a lot. Yeah, kind of that Curtis Samuel role the Bills currently have.
Yeah, I can see that.
So that would be he would be able to attack downfield if he was able to get in route, or if they give him some cushion, he can be the guy to take the top off. But if you're going to want to see him get his production, it's mostly going to be out of the gimmick touches or working in space. So that's more indicative of like
at least immediately.
Right,
But do you think he could develop though into someone who can win outside and someone who can be more than a gimmick player?
Yeah, I think so because he has the twitch and he already has really intelligent footwork when he has the ball in his hands. He's not tiny per se. I wouldn't say he's like size profile wise. He's going to be forced. Yeah, I thought. Well, here I actually haven't updated it since he did all of his testing. He came in at 6'205", which is actually taller than when he was listed, or taller than what he measured at the comp or the Senior Bowl. So he's 6'205". He has the size to work outside. And he has already shown he has intelligent feet and footwork with the ball in his hands. I'm sure he's coachable, so I wouldn't doubt that he can eventually develop his game enough to handle that outside press. And the fact that he has that ability to be a returner and contribute for you in the with the gimmick touches and by taking the top off defense, yeah, he brings in a certain level of floor. Whereas then you also have that the outside receiver potential that he can reach kind of a ceiling with that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Sorry to everyone else. I was really interested.
No, it's all right. If you look at, there's been a little bit of a run on wide receivers. A good thing it's none of the guys we're targeting.
Yeah. Savion Williams went before.
And Jalen Noel too. Like our three guys are all still there. So like this is pretty nice.
Thank y'all. I mean, Noel. I love Noel. He's just not a Bills fit.
Yeah, he's another one of those guys that I feel like his speed he's slot centric, but he does have the speed to win down the field. Where Even
Yeah.
more so than like even of Royals. I think he's going to be more pegged for a slot role than Royals is.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I loved like if we did not have Shakir, Noel would be. I would love Noel, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna text Cleveland, see if they're willing to trade out more, and this might be where it might be a situation where we trade up to. Because I'm thinking maybe there's a way we trade in the third round twice, but I don't know. Actually, probably not, just because a lot of the edges we'd like are already gone. So it'd probably just be once. But I'm gonna see where the Colts are at on.
Yeah.
We can get Greg Newsom for a third, but
What's our temperature in this call on Savion Williams because he just went to Miami?
Savion.
I
Oh, I'm out on him.
Yeah,
by like pick.
weren't
we
really,
get to-
really discussing him too much. Is one of our targets.
He just his comp to me is Cordero Patterson, and then in the third round, I'm looking for someone with a higher ceiling than
He's good. He's good with
Cordero Patterson.
the ball in his hands. But
He's
yeah,
a good contested catch guy. He's got speed, but he was used as a mix of running back and wide receiver. He doesn't really
kind of
strike me as a fluid route runner. Yeah, just lots of ifs, ands, and buts about him. He's very like team centric on where he would go.
Yeah, I agree. I have him. He originally was one of my lowest graded receivers. Now that I watched a couple more guys, he's not at the absolute bottom. But the Cordell Patterson comp, I know a lot of people make it, but for me, it's really because he has that size profile in addition to being someone who wins after the catch. Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's a great route runner. I think he's really good in contested catch situations just because he has that size and athleticism combo. What struck me as weird was the fact that they would use him as a running back, as a wildcat quarterback in the screen game or the middle. But they used him in all these different ways. But they refused to let him be a returner. Like he has like no return experience in college. Where that was kind of the saving grace with Cordero Patterson was he was this big guy who had tons of speed, which I don't even think he didn't test all that well. I think Savion came in at his pro day at 4.48, which is great for a 6'5", 225, but you're not gonna. It's not what Patterson ran, which was in the fourth, which was like 4.3 flat. So he's not as explosive as Patterson, and he had no experience in the return game for a team that was willing to give him the ball in any scenario whatsoever. So I found that a bit weird. So he's not even giving you that level of it. I felt like he was Cordero Patterson as a receiver without Cordero Patterson as the returner. So I was kind of out on him as well.
Yeah, he just gives me very little upside in the receiving aspect, which is what we'd be drafting for in the third round. Like, if it was the sixth round and you needed a guy like that, then sure. But as far as a day two need, no, thank you.
All right. And what about what? Or go ahead, Alex.
No, I was basically just gonna say, I think when we get to like pick 75, I'm gonna like kind of nudge the Colts to see where their heads at because he said he said he's consulting his room and it looks promising. That was like 25 minutes ago. I don't know.
Yeah, all right. Like how promising are we going here, Colts? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Because honestly, with the way these receivers are falling, if I can't swing this Colts, I'm going to try and talk to Cleveland before I circle back to Denver, just because I think one of them is going to fall to 97 or whatever. Because it looks like Cleveland's just trying to get picks. I know they said they wanted to move down in the third. I don't know. They may even be willing to move down more. Because they were willing to move out of the third. It's just we would have had to given up basically all of our day 3 picks, and I'm not really worth to doing that. Houston is open to trading down from 39 to a later pick in the third round plus a 4. We don't have a later pick in the third round, so
we don't have a
we would have basically we'd have to do the Cleveland trade and then instantly make another trade, and it's like that's probably not really worth it. I think one trade and we should be good, and then whoever's running this tomorrow, whoever's going to be on tomorrow has the picks to be able to move around because I will not be able to be here.
Yeah, I won't be here either. I have a double shift tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's running it. I might be Randall again.
Yeah, I already told Jim that like I got like work and stuff like going on. So
yeah,
But I mean, they'll. I mean, I'm not trying. That's why I'm not trying to trade away every pick and then just kind of screw them over. One, that's not predictive, and two, it's like kind of ruins like day three with that has needs. So I think one trade, unless we're trading like up to 80, and then we trade back down to 97. I'm not like going to double trade up.
And Bean has always made a pick in the third, even when he didn't have a third round pick.
Yeah,
That is true. I still think it's in the predictive lens.
Yeah,
and he does love using his fourth round picks as capital.
He loves just trading day three picks. Every year he trades them like they're candy. I mean, especially last year, how much he moved around. It was like every pick. Oh, trade, whether we're going up or down or out. I think the only pick he like stayed and picked at that pick was like the Cole Bishop pick. Every other pick was like a traded one.
Yep.
It's Jalen Royals.
No. Fuck.
It's because of the Jaguars. They took Noel. I'm pretty sure the Saints wanted Noel because the Saints GM in the group chat was like, "I just got absolutely sniped." So
the run. The run is thinking. So
we need to trade up.
I'm thinking, yeah.
Oh, I am depressed now.
Oh, and then Makuba at 72.
I'm so sad.
All right, so that's actually, he's responding right away. If they say no, I'll throw in a little bit more. But if not, then I'll just do Denver. Because Denver's isn't awful. It's just the Colts has been better.
Yeah.
And Jim was saying before we went live that he knows like the guys who run Denver are fans of Felton, who I think should be the target for us here.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I think Felton's the target.
Yeah. I hate the Saints. Whoever is the Saints is in hell with me now.
Yeah, that's that right there.
That is my gut punch. I'm sorry.
The Saints dude's actually pretty. Like one of his buddies is at the Masters right now, and he's like, it's Sam Burns. Apparently, he's texting everyone that like his buddy is Sam Burns, and like he's kicking ass in the Masters, which is pretty dope.
Oh, okay, well that's cool. You couldn't have given us Jalen Royals though.
I'm the biggest Sam Burns fan ever.
I mean, hey, maybe I'm too bullish on Jalen Royals, but I just see immense.
Well, clearly you weren't the only one that was.
Yeah, because I wouldn't even be shocked if he went end of round 2. Like I would be fine if we stayed at our picks, taking him with pick 60.
Mickens this high? That's interesting.
Wait, we have pick 60, right? Not 62.
No, it's at 73.
No.
They didn't update.
In our regular draft, I meant. Without the trades we've done. Is it 62?
We have 56 and 62.
The Colts said it. The Colts, it's seen, and then, like, nothing. Oh, the Panthers took Jack Beck, another receiver, but hey, it's not the guys we want, so that's fine.
Jack Beck? Really? I was surprised. Saints didn't take Jack Beck over Royals.
I mean, I guess we'll know by the Colts trade if by the Colts pick if they want to do that trade or not, and then if not, then we just go right to Denver.
Where are the Colts?
They're at 80.
Colts are at 80.
What pick are we at?
San Fran
75.
75.
Okay. Well, Colts, y'all need to hurry up.
What is our pivot point? Are we going if Felton's gone, even if we get to 80 and Felton's gone? Are we pivoting to Kyle Williams or where are we?
Yeah.
I think we're pivoting to Kyle Williams.
I love this is I already discussed with Alex about this yesterday, but after the grouping of Royals, Felton and Williams, my receiver grades go way down.
So mine with where Felton and so Kyle Williams is up there, and then it's Royals, and then those are guys are third round grades. I have Felton with a fourth. Other guys in that same grouping, which I'm not sure who's gone at wide receiver so far, but My 4th-round grades of wide receiver are Torrey Horton, Noel, Tesla, Felton, Armstrong, Tez Johnson, Ricky White, Pat Bryant, and Savion Williams are my 4
I
or
think
5.
Savion and Noel are the only guys taken out of that.
The only guy who I really like out of all of those is Torrey Horton.
Yeah, I like Torrey
I-
Horton too.
I was a big fan of Horton. I'm a massive fan of Tesla specifically for the in a Bills lens.
Does he work for
I think
Elon?
that's speed, yeah.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, it would be cool to get Torrey Horton on the Bills because we have the same last name. So,
That'd be
selfishly,
a great jersey to wear.
yeah, I'm like, hey, I just get to wear my name on a jersey. That would be sick. But no, I mean, yeah, outside of Felton, Williams, Horton, not many receivers that really get me excited after that. Tesla's pretty solid, just tier below.
Yeah. For me with Tesla, it's he played. I think he ran fast. He ran a 4.4 flat, but even then, I think he played faster than that.
Yeah, I agree.
He's got strong hands and he's big. Where he got moved into the slot this past season. He started out on the outside, got moved in the slot, and you can kind of tell from his lack of being able to build up an attack, press coverage. It's not really something that he's really super comfortable with right now. But he's a guy similar to what you would get in like in a Noel, a slot guy you can push down the field. Except he has size where Noel doesn't. But I think Noel is a bit more nuanced as a route runner and after the catch. He has good range when it comes to his catch radius and his hands being strong, and he has the speed to take top off the defense. He's very limited in what routes he was asked to run. I do think he shows a bit more wiggle in his hips and in his ankles to be able to expand that route tree. He's not going to be totally limited. He's not going to be capable of running some more sharp, faster routes in the short to intermediate. But for right now, he's not going to offer you much there. For me, where he was originally a JUCO guy for 3 years, and he only just started playing high level football at D1 level football for the past 2 seasons, which is why he got a lot of limited production. So for me, he's one of those guys that it's kind of that Matt Collins breed where he's going to be a player who plays hard, blocks his ass off, will take the top off a defense and run will run deep routes despite knowing he's not going to get the ball just to clear out space. He's not somebody who's going to demand the ball a lot. He'll play that way just for the passion of it, while also providing you some run blocking support and other kind of hard-nosed stuff as wide receiver. He also was a big guy when it came to special teams, like being a gunner and a blocker on return teams and kickoff teams. So I do think if you're looking to replace that Matt Collins type of void, you're looking at him. Maybe you're looking at Pat Bryant, but he's more one note when it comes to the blocking. Yeah, he doesn't bring as much of the speed that Tesla does. I feel like Tesla fits the role of needing a guy with speed, but also fits the role that we need with the Matt Collins replacement because we added Laviska Shenault and Palmer, neither of which Palmer definitely doesn't, but Shenault I don't think will ever be that type of player that Hollins was for us. So if we're looking for refilling that after we lost out on bring Hollins back, I think Tesla is that guy to slot in for us there. But he's not going to be the guy who you bring in and he's going to impact the offense like year one. That's why I think he's more like a 4-5 than a third guy.
It looks like we have to up it a little bit for the Colts offer. Apparently someone gave a very competitive offer. So what I did was I moved 109 to 108, 170 to 169, and then added in the Giants 7th we have next year. I don't know if that is enough to push the needle, but he's responding right. Yeah, it's an improvement. I'll add it. I'll even add a little bit more just because I really want to move in to make sure we get Felton or Kyle Williams.
Yes, please.
I also don't want to overpay like crazy. So
yeah, of course we got to be smart.
He said he wanted to do a pick swap next year, so maybe we might do where we give our 5th to get a 6 back or something like that. Oh, the Seahawks traded up to 76. They already took a receiver, so I don't think they would take another one when they already have Golden and JSN and what's his face is a decent 3 that they already had. Jake Bobo, he's like an okay 3, so I doubt they take the Patriots.
The Patriots already took Burden in this one, so they're probably not looking to go receiver.
Cardinals could. Have they taken receiver?
Not yet. They've gotten just Jade Barron and Alfred Collins, but they might
Yeah,
just
because
continue
they
to
don't have
attack
anybody
defense.
outside of Marvin Harrison, really.
I mean, they have Dortch and Marco Williams, or not Marco Williams. What's his name? Florida receiver or Stanford receiver. Oh, wow, I can't
I have
remember his
no
name
idea.
now.
Oh, Michael Wilson?
Mike Wilson, that's what it is. Michael Wilson. They have Michael Wilson and Greg Dortch, which Michael Wilson's a fine wide receiver 3. I could see them targeting one here, but I don't know which one they would covet.
Come on, I just really hope we can get that Colts offer.
I hope they can just take Shamari DK.
Norman Lott.
And the Texans took Higgins, so they're not going to be a receiver team. So the only one we really have to fade is going to be the Cardinals taking Felton there.
Yes.
If we end up getting this Colts pick. If the Colts pick goes to someone else, they're probably also looking to trade up for receiver, especially with this run on them.
Yes.
But yeah, you're talking about some of your guys. Yeah, and I was telling these guys I was at the Senior Bowl, and some of the guys who I really liked. Yeah, I agree that Pat Bryant doesn't have the speed that we're looking for, but he did make some absolutely insane contested catches when I was there that were like head turners.
Oh yeah, he's crazy with that.
This dude will, he'll start typing, and then he'll disappear. Maybe he's just been typing for a minute. I guess the highest I'll go, and if he says no, then we'll pivot. So I'll do 108, 80 for 109, Okay, yes. If he says no to that, then I'll do 108, 132, 169, 170, and then 2026 fifth, and we get back there 2026 sixth. I think that's the highest I will go, and then after that, no.
Yes.
Then I'll pivot to the Denver trade.
If you want to see a fun Pat Bryant play, there was the game against Rutgers. It was
okay,
10
it's deal.
seconds left.
Deal.
All right, we got 80.
Sweet.
Let's go.
Nice. All right. What were you saying? Is you had to play against Rutgers?
Yeah. If you look it up, they were down 5 with 10 seconds left, and he caught the ball at the 30 and just ran over 3 dudes to get in the end zone. Got the game walk-off touchdown that game.
Yeah.
So he's a hard worker when it comes to the ball in his hands, blocking, this catch. He's gritty, big receiver that will do all the tough stuff that you really want. He's probably the best run blocking receiver in the class, next to Io Manor. But he's not doesn't have a lot of juice. He doesn't really offer you much as a route runner. He's going to be exclusively who's the Bills receiver I'm thinking of? Hunter was his last name. He was just a big body.
Is it
that would win the end zone. It might have been
DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah, something like
I
that.
mean, I like
he's
this.
Very similar to that.
We're taking Ty unless he gets snatched in the next couple picks.
Yeah. Donovan Jackson. Didn't Donovan Jackson come off the board already?
Yep.
I thought he was already picked.
Donovan. That was definitely a mistype. He was taken. Yeah, Seahawks traded up for him. Omar Norman Lott actually at 76. That's actually
He was
pretty
still there. That's
pretty
really
decent.
good value.
Yeah, especially with they already have Leonard Williams. You pair him next to him.
Oh shit.
I'm not 100% sold on us taking Kyle Williams just from the redundancy of his skill set with how we won.
Well, our hope is Felton.
Yeah,
I would
we
say-
have a couple picks available. I'm really hoping
Yeah.
he doesn't. And I kind of I don't see New England doing it.
They already took one, right?
They already took a receiver.
the Cardinals
yeah.
is going to be who we're looking at because New
Yeah,
England's
Cardinals
put
Houston already
Burden.
took a receiver, and Houston already took a receiver.
Yeah, Burden went to New England and Higgins went to the Texans. So we're just trying to hope that the Cardinals don't snatch or don't target anybody. I mean, they can target somebody else other than Felton, but
Can the Cardinals just take The worst wide receiver in the class.
You know how you said, Ryan, how you said that if we didn't have Shakir, you'd be all over Noel as our guy for that spot. Afton
Yeah.
Chisholm from the third from Washington or from Eastern Washington, he's
Mhm.
my, if you don't count Igbuka, he's my number one slot in the class. I absolutely love him.
Oh, that's interesting.
And
I
I've
like
been on
him.
that. I've been on that since before Restrepo ran that 40. I thought he had better tape than Restrepo did at Miami. I always thought Restrepo was kind of slower footed and not like the most dynamic player. He was a smart player, have them both with thirds, but I do think I think Chisholm, he's a smart player in the slot as well as plays hard, has more athleticism than someone like Restrepo does. So he's one of my my guys in this class.
He would be my third favorite slot guy. It would go Ibuka,
We gave
Noel,
up
then him.
5 picks for one, but I mean, we moved up 30.
There's okay. I'm
We
sorry.
moved up 30
Anyone-
spots, so it's fine.
Did you see what Draft Professor said in the chat?
He
That no
loves
way.
linebacker. He loves linebackers so much.
We
It's
have
alright.
enough linebackers.
It's specifically so because this is a predictive draft, and he himself has been in contact with Chris Paul Sr., his father,
Yeah.
and he's got a lot of
he's got a jersey coming.
he's got a lot of the inside information on what the Bills have been doing with Chris Paul Jr. I don't want to air out anything he has.
No, I know. Yeah, we get
But-
it. I like
Trying to scroll down on
linebacker
my
this
computer.
early would be nuts considering we have 3 like really good ones, and then Ulofoshio.
What up?
Yeah. So that's 4 right there. What's up?
What's going on? Who'd we get?
We
Got here at a good
I'm
We
time.
traded up for Trey Amos.
That's
got
cool.
Amos. And then we traded
Now we
both
got a third.
seconds, and we got a fourth in return. And then we used that fourth with our 132, and then
Mm-hmm.
our 2 of our fifths to move up to 80. And we're hoping to select Felton.
Nice. Who are we going receiver?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
Tyvelt.
are the receivers available?
Kyle
Felton
Williams,
and Kyle
Ty
Williams.
Felton.
So Jalen Royals is gone.
Yep.
Sadly,
he went to
you should have
71.
you should have seen my face when he got taken. I was depressed.
So wait, we're
Basically,
between
just
Kyle
hoping
and
that-
Ty.
Yeah, we're just hoping we either don't get
Yeah.
jumped or AZ doesn't pick them. That's kind of like
Yeah,
our hope
AZ
right now.
is our only warrior right now.
I've got a better grade on Kyle Williams anyway. I like Ty.
We just-
You-
we just think Ty's a better
you-
fit.
Yeah. Well, I love both, but okay, the chaos in me would love to take Kyle Williams to see what Draft Professor's reaction
Yeah.
would be, but
I can see his face on the feed. He's definitely he's definitely thinking about this pick coming up.
Was he not like Kyle
He's
Williams?
worried. He hates him.
Correct.
Kyle Williams is he's definitely a top 3 route runner in this draft. There's no question in my mind about that.
Yeah, it's just how much do we, I guess, trust it down the field per se.
I mean, he had more downfield targets last year than Ty Felton did. But I know Ty can do it. Ty just was utilized differently.
Yeah, I mean, I personally just like Felton a little bit better, but I can be fine with either.
Can I just be? Can I
I'm
just
just-
be?
I'm just
split
being
down the middle?
contrarian
'Cause
here,
I love
guys.
both.
I know. I'm being contrarian. I like both
Yeah.
players, by the way.
Yeah, I love both. I think both are going to
So-
be studs in this league.
They're both top 10 for me. I've got Kyle Williams and Jalen Royals graded about the same. And then I have Higgins right after that, and then Ty Felton.
Yeah.
I
You
wanted
missed
to
the
go
run of
curl up in a-
receivers that went, and like
Yeah.
it was like Savion Williams, Jack Back,
Thank God.
Jaden Higgins,
Savion
Jalen
Williams.
That's what I
Noel.
said.
like all the
I love
guys
how
who
me and
didn't
Alex are just on the
all
same
went.
page with everything.
And Jack Besh. I'll 100% wholesale pass on Jack Besh. I like him as a player, just not what I want.
All right, so
Yeah.
here's the real one. Unless Houston trades back, which they
So-
have said they're willing to. I'm scared. I'm a little scared. Denver tries to jump us to get Felton.
Arizona,
No one's gonna
I'm
take him.
begging you, don't be an ass.
How many
I'm
threes-
also begging Houston not to trade back because they've already talked about wanting to.
How many third rounders do we have now after everything? Just one?
Just the
Just
one
one.
third, yeah.
Okay. So we just have two
Actually, no.
We've only drafted 2 players total then. I only
Yeah.
missed Amos.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then we still have I think we have. I put how many of the picks we have left in the
We
thing,
still have
so-
a good amount of picks.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll still have 4 picks tomorrow. A fourth, 2
Okay.
fifths, and a sixth. So like they're still available to move around or fill in the rest of the needs.
Do you have 1/4, 2/5?
Yeah, and it's one of
Okay.
the it's Chicago's fourth. We still have Chicago's fourth. So
The first one, the one early in the round.
yeah, the 109. Yeah, because
Like the first
we
pick.
got 108 from Minnesota when we traded up. It was our 2 seconds and got 108, and then we
Okay.
flipped to a 108 to get up to 80.
Of 80. Okay.
We have 3 6th, right?
No,
Not even.
they were.
Oh, okay. So
Oh,
we have
actually-
2 now.
Oh wait, yeah, because some of those like picks.
Kyle
that
Williams-
we got
Kyle
in the
Williams
fifth
just
round
got
also early
drafted.
sixth. Yeah, I think we have 2 6. Oh,
They made
okay.
it easier. They took Kyle
Yeah.
Williams.
Well, now I'm a little scared. Houston trades out. If Houston trades out and takes
Houston?
Tyson,
Hey, is this going to be? This might sound like crazy talk, but I really like Torrey Horton too.
So do I.
but
But
How do you
would
like
we
Tyler
take
Logan?
him at 80? Like who would we take if
Ballpark in
say
that area.
Houston trades out and we get jumped to take Ty Felton? Who is our
Okay.
backup plan?
I would take Torrey Horton next. That would be my next play, unless.
Is there
I mean-
any edge available that we really like?
Oh, hold on. Yeah, hold on. Let me check. Who's been taken for edge? I've missed the last round. So who we down to?
Houston, I'm begging you.
Swinson
Basically-
available?
No, Swinson, Oladejo,
Oladejo,
Dejo,
Princely.
Princely,
James
Landon
Jackson.
Jackson.
Josiah Stewart gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Birch.
I think like
Jordan
J-
Birch?
Birch
I
is
think
still
Birch is
available.
I think like
Uh,
Kyle
Birch and
Kennard's
Ivy, I think,
there.
are both there.
Yeah, Ivy's there. Kyle Kennard's there.
Okay.
I'm not high on Ivy.
Where did
Oh, I'm not
where
either.
did
Yeah, I'm
Donovan
not either.
Azarique go? Or is he still
14th
No, he
overall.
went.
Yeah, he went early.
available?
14th
Oh my
overall.
Wow, I didn't
Yeah.
see. I hadn't heard his name. I didn't realize that because we didn't join this yesterday until like pick 20.
Yeah, the
Alright.
Dolphins took him 14th overall.
Do we
Whoever
know
is
that
Houston-
somebody's trying to jump into Houston's spot? Do we have intel on that?
I know Houston at one point said they were willing to trade out. I don't know if they actually are though.
Okay.
Houston, please don't be a bitch.
But Denver said they want to trade back, so I
don't
don't
think
it would be
they're gonna-
Denver jumping.
I don't think they're jumping up for Ty Felton.
Denver
Yeah.
already said they said in the
they
group
liked
chat
Felton.
85 could be
Okay.
available if anyone wants to jump up.
Yeah.
I still like receiver over the edges available, personally. I think the edge we get's going to be like battling with Javon Solomon on the back of the roster, and it's like, okay, what are we doing?
Felton. Please, Houston, give us Felton.
And Jalen Noel's gone, correct?
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
he went earlier.
Yes.
He went the pick before Jalen Royals.
But,
Yes, the Saints got sniped out of the Saints were targeting Noel, and then they got sniped, so they took Royals.
Yeah,
that
so-
was when we
So the
knew
Jags
like,
really screwed us.
The Saints decided to break my heart today.
No, the
What about
Jags did by
the
forcing their
Jags
hand.
started it, and then
Yeah.
yeah,
The Jags started it. My heart started shattering already, but then the Saints said, "Fuck your heart," and just went.
and Io Manor's gone, right?
Thank
Yeah.
God, yes. I don't
Yeah.
like Iron
I'm
The
not a big.
Pittsburgh
He
guy
doesn't
just
separate
texted
me.
me
If-
interested in 83, but no.
For me, value-wise, if Felton does get taken here, my next highest graded player for any of the positions we'd be looking at would be Birch.
Okay.
Because I have 4s on Horton and Tesla as my next receivers.
Mm-hmm.
And Birch and Ivy, I have 3s on. Birch is a higher 3, Ivy's a lower 3.
I'd much rather have Birch than
We'll just
Ivy.
go-
Oh, I 100% would agree because I
For
think
sure. Yeah.
Ivy's limited but fills a specific role.
So you want to say Ty and then backup plan is Birch?
I think that'd be smart, and then we
Okay.
then have to see who is available at 109 with between Horton.
draft
Or
Or
professor-
should I?
draft
Well,
professor's pounding the
wait,
table for Poop Paul.
Pittsburgh just asked us if we're interested. Oh, trading up to 83. Never mind. They want to trade back from 83. I was going to say we could always try if Felton's gone, we could always look to like trade out to Pittsburgh, but they want to trade like back. So.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I
I'm
thought we
worried
had
the
4
Texans
minutes
are
to
still
pick
shopping.
Oh
up.
no,
Taking
they took a
it.
tight end. Felton's
Yes!
ours.
Okay.
Royals.
All right,
Felton!
we're good.
Let's go. Who's going to text to say we're taking Felton?
I got it.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank them.
Oh, they already knew. Oh, because we already told them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The way Jim just jumped in, didn't say anything. What an asshole!
he's got us in the chat.
What a dick! What if we changed our mind?
That's pretty
Well,
funny.
I gotta see his
All right,
reaction
I'll
to it now.
He probably
All right.
he knows
All right.
Ryan.
Yeah,
and
let's see. I
know
want to
him,
listen to this.
like,
Let's
what's
hear
it-
it.
what's it receiver?
I'm muting myself so I can turn this up.
Oh yeah, go for it. I don't hear anything.
One for the Team MPSF article. I did a 7-round mock, and I had Ty Felton go to Buffalo by trading up in the third, which they pretty much did as well. I like Ty Felton's game. He does bring that little Stephon Diggs-esque back to Buffalo in his route running style. I believe Maryland didn't use him enough in the vertical game as much. They used him in the short passing, but it's yeah, but his right after the cuts looks really good, very twitchy. His route running is great, and then Buffalo will open him up more on the outside. I think he'll learn well with Joshua Palmer. I think they could have similar styles, so he can learn through that, and then be able to just get great for 2026 and contribute in 2025.
Oh, Torrey Holt. Oh wait, no, it wasn't Holt.
So that was Randall on Felton.
Yes, see,
Yeah.
I agree with Randall.
Yeah.
Jim is just staying silent. He's like, I fucking hate this shit.
He wants Paul like if it like the death of
Paul will be there in 29 picks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no way Poo Paul's getting taken.
Exactly.
Like that would be
I mean-
like poo poo.
We're
All right,
we're
so
interested in Pooh Paul, but
Yeah. Are we
Yeah.
gonna?
Predictably, it makes sense.
Jim is kind of pissed right now. You can see it.
yeah,
Everyone,
there goes Torrey.
everyone else seems pretty happy though.
Watch
We-
Torrey Holton went at right after us.
so wait, do we have to pick Pooh Paul now at 109?
To make
Just
him
to
happy,
make Jim
probably.
happy.
Yeah, just to make him happy because he's gonna be there. If
And
he
then we
doesn't,
go
he's
like-
crazy.
And
yeah,
then we go like
that'll be tomorrow. I mean,
There's
we're
Horton.
not doing the 4th today, are we?
and
Horton-
no,
no.
and then
We
day
pick-
3, it's like you go Pooh Paul and then like Edge, see another CB and interior offensive lineman.
And
Horton's gone.
Horton came off the board 2 picks later.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, it was a good trade for what we were trying to do here.
Yeah, we got our guy, and we got
Yeah,
right. At the
if
end of the wide receiver.
we would have made the trade with Denver, we wouldn't have got him.
Can you,
Exactly.
Alex, are you controlling the screen? that
Yeah.
we're watching. Can you go to 56? And I just want to see who got picked in 56 and 62.
Yeah, no problem.
It was Azarai Thomas at 56, and then
Yeah, it's hard to
Yeah.
like control it so well.
Yeah. And then Jonah
7, yeah.
Sabaniah.
none of us can say
yeah.
it.
Jonas
Why?
Sabaniah.
Yeah, I know who he is. I just can't say his name.
The first 3
Um,
picks of Grant, Amos, and Felton is pretty awesome.
Oh,
I
Chiefs
just
took the
texted
receiver.
Caleb. And I said, I was.
Whoa, Darian
I
Porter
bet
was
he's
still on
fine-
the
I
board?
bet he's fine with
texted-
Grant now.
I texted Caleb. I go Grant Amos Felton with fire emojis.
I bet he's gonna be happy and fine with.
Yeah, I
Grant
know.
now.
I think he just likes Harmon over Grant. So like he would have rather taken Harmon over Grant because he just.
That's
wants
fair.
to
I'm,
take
Yeah.
I'm with
doubles.
him. I like
Which-
Harmon more than Grant, but I
and-
have him like really close.
I'm just scared of like what I kind of view it as is like Grant is like Dexter Lawrence and Harmon is like Jeffrey Simmons. And while Jeffrey Simmons became a beast, like
Force. Yeah.
Dexter Lawrence is
Better.
arguably the best defensive
Yeah,
player in
better.
football. Like
Yeah.
so like that's where I'm like if we take Harmon in real life and Grant turns out to be like that, it would be like it would just suck.
Yeah.
I can't believe Darian Porter lasted to the 3rd round.
Yeah, I have a late second, early third on him, but it doesn't. I feel like he's not a great tackler. I don't know if he was a great fit for Buffalo.
I liked him for Buffalo just because I liked his inherent
Coverage.
instincts and sense and zone.
Yeah,
Especially for someone who didn't have that many reps. I do agree that I didn't love his tackling. I had a solid 2 on him. It wasn't anything crazy, but I definitely think because we're towards the middle of round 3, I definitely think that's a good value pick for them.
we're kind of at the end. We're almost in the comp picks here soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we have I'm not even gonna discuss any trades the rest of it. I think we just
Yeah,
You don't want to
yeah,
move
yeah.
back in? You want to move back
No.
in third?
we have 4 day 3 picks. I think that's a
Jim
perfect
would
amount, so-
spontaneously combust on screen.
Yeah.
Move up for
We have-
football.
If we move up for an edge rusher just so we don't draft Pupal.
I want to make a comment. I'm going to say something about him being upset about it. Hold on.
This is supposed to be for fun, right?
Yeah. Well,
Predictably, I like us going Paul in the fourth. Obviously, just to try to get the pick right. But from the linebacker group I've watched, I'm totally more in favor of taking like Cody Lindenberg or Sean Dolak in
I
5,
love
6,
Sean
7.
Dolak.
As someone who, because I work as a scout with UB,
Yeah.
so I'm there. I was at the facility a ton, and I saw him. I also played football against him. He's a great guy. He's a stud player.
Where did he go to high school? Wasn't it like West Seneca?
Yeah, West Seneca West.
who's the guy?
Wait,
you're
what
talking
school
about?
did you go
Sorry.
to?
Dolak. I went to Cheektowaga Central. We scrimmaged against them.
Oh, okay.
during the
Yeah,
preseason.
I see. I live Western New York area. Also, I live like 45 minutes south. I went to Pioneer, so
Oh, and how long
we-
have you
we-
been
we
on?
played Pioneer.
yeah. What year?
How long
Wait,
have
what
you
year
been
did
on
you
Twitter?
graduate?
I graduated 2018. You said how long have I been on Twitter?
Yeah.
Couple of years, I think.
So you were around during ECB?
ECD.
ECB. Okay, so he doesn't know the backstory of ECB. So ECB apparently was this inside source at UB who did like Bill's medicals. And there was like all this controversy about whether people believed him or not because he would report on who the Bills were doing like medicals on, whether it was with a trade and stuff. And so I was curious as a UB
Draft
person yourself
There
if
goes
you were like
Morrison.
aware of that whole thing.
It's the draft thing we're doing.
Is this recent or is this like
Where we're like,
This was
decent days,
he's
though?
probably been gone for about
I don't know.
2 years.
Yeah, I've been there for a year. I started last April.
Okay.
it
I
would
meant
have
on
to be-
Twitter. I meant on Twitter.
Yeah.
UB, I don't know how long he's been there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if he was getting that information, I'm trying to think about because I know the people who were there 2 years ago when that would have been when that stuff was coming out. But I don't think it had
That
to. It
was
had to been
quite an
someone.
interesting time.
I see. There had to be some sort of. There was the Bill showcase today with some of the UB guys that were over there. They had some private workouts today with
Was
Dolak
Dolak there?
and
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dolak was there.
Talbot was tweeting about it earlier. Apparently, he balled out again.
Yeah,
course.
Dolak's good. Dolak's really good. Really solid.
Yeah, of the UB guys they tried out, it was Dolak and then their punter Ethan Dwayne, who was from Australia. Good guy too.
Look at us. Let's draft a punter, guys. Woo.
Yeah, and another position we need, honestly.
Yeah.
Do you
People
think
like
there's any
who's,
punters that are draftable? Is that a silly question?
who's
There's
the
two
guy
of
we
them, I
picked
think.
up? Kamara?
Camarada.
Is that his name?
Benjamin
Camarada.
Morrison, Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
He had really solid numbers his first 2 years with Tampa, and then for some reason he got cut once they switched the special teams coordinator, I believe.
So based off of what I understand of the situation that was down there was that they were trying to do this thing where they were holding players accountable for poor play, like to basically say like you can't get away with being a poor player and not face repercussions. So he had 2 good seasons to start his year off, and then he had a terrible start to the season this year. So they cut him as like a message to the rest of the roster, like we're serious about this whole play better thing. And then they signed a different punter who was the absolute worst punter in the NFL. Following.
So that went to shit.
Yeah, I mean it's. I don't know how often Tampa Bay punted, but like, I guess it wouldn't have. That's probably the position you could use to do that because even if you have a terrible punter, it's not going to impact you
Yeah.
incredibly when it comes to your winning.
I'm pretty psyched right now, guys. I think it was a really good day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
I think-
Yes.
We got our favorite corner that we were debating at pick 30, and then we were able to get like one of our favorite receivers that we would have even been comfortable taking like 70, and we got him at 80. So
Question. I don't know which one of us would know this. But after we make all of our picks through 7 rounds, are we gonna have like a Bills graphic with the picks?
Yeah, so I think Jim has he runs the Draft Professor website, so he's going to be able to go through and he'll probably input all the picks into his mock draft machine, and then you can separate them by teams, and it'll show them in like graphics. I'm sure if you follow him on Twitter, you'll get the graphic.
Alright.
He'll probably send it in the group chat as well.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a
cool.
pretty cool.
yeah, I'll definitely repost that.
Yeah, I'd definitely love to have a screenshot of that.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool draft machine. We were using it on our show when we were and we still are as we're going through our mock. And when you go like team by team, it separates the players based on like how like each team has them graded. So like in terms of best player available, it's pretty good stuff.
Sick. Yeah, no, Grant Amos Felton, so good.
I love the Amos pick, and I know I've heard rumblings that the Bills are interested in him. I mean, that's just kind of been consistent since the combine. I don't know if that's like their guy that they're actively targeting. I'm sure we won't actually know that as much as we know some of the other guys like Felton has been extensively looked at. Poophall has been extensively looked at. Joshua Farmer,
Royals.
Landon Jackson, Royals. Those guys have had like deep ties to the team so far. So that trade up in the second, I think that's realistic. I think we did a good job with that to land that guy, and the way that Grant's been falling in mock drafts and from the guys who are more tapped into it, that seems realistic.
I've
And then
never seen
I think,
anyone more varied. I've seen Grant go anywhere from like 12 to 45.
Yeah.
yeah,
so-
I mean, I think it's the you worry about his positional value. Like I have him graded as my 16th overall player, and he's my 4th D tackle. Like I have 5 D tackles inside the, or maybe he's even my 5th D tackle. No, he's
Yeah,
my
Graham
he's
one,
he's my D-
obviously.
yeah, he's my D tackle 5. So I have Graham number 1. He's my 4th overall player.
Mhm.
Then I have Walter Nolan as my 2nd D tackle at 10th overall. Then I have Darius Alexander at 13th overall. And then I have Harmon at 15, Grant at 16.
I'm assuming you've probably seen a lot of Darius Alexander being a UB scout. I mean, playing Toledo and everything.
Yeah, so I was specifically the D tackle guy for a while. My role for this past season was D tackle. I switched from back to D tackle during the season, and for advanced scouting, when it came to transfer portal stuff, I would have to watch our opponents to get a sense of who was on their D line, if any of them hit the portal in the future. And so I got a lot of look at Darius Alexander, and then I have access to the film we use through UB. I have access on my own personal laptop, so I'm able to get all 22 film for everybody, basically. So I was able to dive deep into his stuff. I'm not, and like I said, my grades are all based off of just the film stuff. It's not taking in factoring his age, his breakout season or whatever. Like some of the other factors that will scare teams off of him. I know that there are even then some people don't love the film as much as I do, but I thought he was absolutely dominant at his level, at the MAC level, and then he even dominated against ACC competition. Like he killed Pitt in their bowl game. So I think him as a player, and he's the same size as Harmon. So when you're looking at it through a Bills lens, if you're thinking Harmon could be more of a gap shooting nose tackle, I think Alexander could fit that same role. And then it really just gets into the discussion of, because he's going to be he's 25 right now, and we turning 26 before his second season, you're going to have limited time with him. I would argue that because you with a first round, if you used a first round pick on Alexander, you would have him under contract control with 5 years with the 5th year option. So you're getting up to age 30, and then you have the 2 franchise tag years if you want to continue to have contract control. If he tries to, you get more money out of you while not having longer age, because that's usually the big issue, is that you want to try to pull as many contracts out of one player as possible. But if you can extend that one contract to where it's only 2 contracts, but it encompasses the same amount of time as 3 of them, it's not the worst thing for when you want to value guys. So I never really took into account the age thing nearly as much as most people in the bigger media does.
Hey, real quick question for you. I'm in the chat too. What did
Jim is
going off right now.
What's Jim mad about? I'm confused.
Apparently,
He's
we
bad at the trade.
didn't consult him on the trade, but like everyone else agreed it was a good trade, so it would have just been everyone against him. So
he says
majority
like we
role.
don't have to agree with him too. Like he he lets you know when he doesn't agree with you, but then he's like hey, but we don't have to agree. And
I wasn't here for the trade. What did he not like about it?
he didn't want us to trade up. He wanted us instead to keep our 4th and then trade our 5th and 6th up to more 4ths and 5ths. And
that wouldn't have got the deal
and just
done.
he didn't want us to trade back into the 3rd.
Yeah, he didn't want us to get a
like
3rd.
a bunch of 4th and early 5th rounders. That's what he wanted us to have.
Which is crazy because I think
And I didn't like that.
most of the talent in this draft is from rounds 2 through 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
In my
even then,
opinion.
like the trade up from that we made to get back into the third is identical to what a Brandon Bean trade would be, and it's for a guy that the Bills have heavily targeted, and it was a running wide receiver. So if there was anything that's happened that's been the most realistic of any of our picks, I think it's been packaging fourths to get up into the third to grab your guy at a position that you've already heavily targeted.
I mean, was it not Sean McDermott's first thing he said in the offseason presser? What do you need? Speed.
Yeah.
He literally said that as one of his first sentences.
And it's not like we really have that many roster spots. Even with the 2 suspensions to start the year, I think at most 8 rookies can make the roster.
Yeah.
Right now we are going to have 7 draft picks.
Hey,
That's perfect.
Owen, I have a question. So you said that they've extensively looked at Ty. I saw that they I guess he's a top 30 based on yesterday's ticker, I thought, right? To get a top, top 30.
There's conversations about bringing him in for a private workout as well.
Private workout. Oh. Okay, cool. Okay, I didn't know. Is there anything else out there on him that we know of that is like that?
Royals.
Same thing with Royals. I saw him get the visit, but I didn't know how much interest they have in
Talbot's exact words were the Bills are very interested in Royals.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly what that entails, but like he did not say that for any of the other prospects.
Yeah. Would y'all all rather have Royals over Felton?
Yes.
I would rather have Felton, but like it's close.
Yeah, I wouldn't lose sleep over either of them. We were having this discussion earlier, and it's a good one to have because I mean,
Alex, are you with me?
What?
Are you with me on this one, Royals?
Oh yeah. I'm more in Jalen.
I can always count on Alex to agree with me.
We all kind of agreed that he's that. You get like a little bit more from Royals. He's more versatile and like.
I like both. Don't get me wrong. Me saying I like one or the other is not like me trying to.
I think Royals is faster than he ran his 40 into. I don't think he's
his game speed is faster. Yeah, for sure.
He ran
4 the way I stacked it was I had Kyle Williams, then Royals, then Felton grade wise.
Okay.
But then when it came to targeting them specifically for the Bills, I felt Williams, even though because he's a much more of a technician with route running than he is like a straight line vertical receiver.
Absolutely.
So I felt like that role was kind of wasn't really what they were looking for when it came to deep threats. And Royals is more of a he got a lot of action in the gimmick touch game while he has that speed. I felt like he was another guy that was kind of redundant with Curtis Samuel on the roster or even like Lil Shakir. So with Felton even being my lowest graded guy of those 3, his play style with the verticality is what I think made him more attractive for the Bills in that ranking.
I think if Kyle was an inch taller, 5 pounds heavier, and had 2 inch longer arms, then we would have a different discussion, I think, in some ways, because I think like a lot of the problem with him is like in the NFL anyway, I don't think Kyle Williams is going to go down the field and win like contested catch situations. He really does lack a lot of length versus like I know Felton has short arms too, but Felton has got more of he's a little more angular and taller and stuff like that. I think that he can overcome it a little bit easier than Kyle Williams will for what we need to do.
I like all 3. I like obviously Royals.
Harrison
is my
all the
preference.
way to 87 is kind of crazy.
Yeah,
wait, Harrison is still available?
The Packers just took him.
How Jesus, that is never happening.
And Benjamin Morrison just went 2 picks before that.
I really like that one for Tampa.
Yeah,
they desperately need corner, and I already stated how much I like Morrison.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people are putting a lot of stock into his shoulder injury because, like, I think his 2023 tape because he was someone specifically that because he had the injury, I went back and watched some stuff from 2023 as well. His ability to play physical and tackle was significantly better in 23 than 24. He was more willing to do it and was more physical. I still don't think he's good at it. He's super light, and that kind of plays into what he's good at. And I don't know with his frame and build, I don't know how much more he can add on to that, which was my concern for him because I had a 2nd round grade on him for coverage exclusively, but and because he had a history of playing better physically and better with run defense, but when he isn't having a shoulder injury,
Morrison
I was worried that the
Harrison.
Oh, okay.
Morrison's got
Harrison had
a freak.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to say Morrison would have been a top 15 pick if it wasn't for the hip injury.
Absolutely, I like him better than Revel.
Yeah, I mean, Revel would have probably a top 20 pick probably if it wasn't for the ACL.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that Morrison has a better chance to come back quicker, I would imagine.
Yeah. Because usually your first ACL at that age, you come back and you don't usually miss a step. It's usually when you get older or when you're to your second ACLs where you really start to lose it.
Yeah, and it might take him a year and a half to get to full speed.
Yeah, I mean, he could have a rough rookie year, but I mean, corners is kind of one of those where it's you either a lot of times if you sometimes like the top guys will come out the gates and be studs right away, but a lot of times it takes players to develop a year
Yeah.
or two. Usually, year two is like usually gives them that 1 year leeway. So
Yeah, that's what I would say too.
they don't show up by year two. It's pretty rare that they develop into anything.
Yeah, agreed.
So what? There's how many?
No,
how
I
many
don't think.
picks
I don't
left?
think. I don't think Jim
13?
has smiled since we made the pick on the show.
We're all smiling, so
I'm on the
You-
hop.
Hey, do you go by Montana or Bahuki, Montana?
Bahuki, Montana is
Okay.
is what my friends call me. My real name is Blake.
All right, what's up, Blake?
I probably should have did what Owen did and slid my actual name in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I had. Yeah, I don't even. I probably should have put my Twitter handle on there, but I didn't. I just had my name.
So is this whole thing about Pooh Paul? You think?
I think it's probably got some to do with it, but he seems to be upset about like the amount of picks we gave up. He wanted to hold on to like a lot of the later picks.
So how many?
I don't know why.
I-
he wanted
value
ammo to move up. He also didn't see the value in taking someone like Felton in the third round. He would have rather have sat and taken whatever receiver fell. He felt it was just better value, and then use those picks like the fifths and stuff to move
Mhm.
around at day 3. But I don't.
I
Really
mean,
see the value in that.
after Royals, Williams, Felton,
Horton,
Horton,
maybe?
and maybe like one or two other guys, I feel like receiver
was a
really
big
drops
drop.
off in terms
Yeah.
of potential.
Then you're into like
Like-
Elijah Badger and Shamiri DK.
Yeah, and I feel like
that.
the Bills have clearly done work on guys in that 2 to 4 range. I mean, they've had a couple guys like the Georgia receiver and the Auburn receiver who are later,
yeah,
but like
know
they've
that.
done work on Bond, who I think is off their board now.
yeah, he's
They've done work
Yeah.
on Royals, extensive work on Royals. They've done
Belton.
a lot of work on Felton. Wouldn't surprise me if Kyle Williams gets listed as a visitor as well.
Yeah.
Like, receivers are most visited position, so for us not to factor that in, and it wasn't even the second round. We got Amos in the second round, and between edge and wide receiver, I think Felton was a better value than Birch.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also,
Like,
we haven't really done any work with Kyle Williams. Not that I remember. I don't even remember
not
doing
yet.
an
That's
interview.
what I don't know the interest levels.
And I didn't know the combine interview.
be
I didn't even
curious.
know. Yeah, me
But
too,
to
'cause
be
I-
fair, it could be another Ty Felton thing where 2 days ago we thought we didn't do anything with Felton, and now it came
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
that
it's
we've
coming
had
out, we've
private
done a lot,
workout.
yeah.
It's like,
yeah,
Are we going
um,
to speak that one into existence also?
fuck yeah, Kyle Williams, come to Buffalo.
yeah. Can you get both?
Yeah, literally.
Trade you Keon for it.
So yeah, like
Yeah,
I think
it was there was a Brandon Bean quote recently. Someone asked him about the not having a third round pick, and he's like, "Yeah, it keeps me up at night."
He doesn't
Yeah.
like not having a third. He's going to get a third rounder or
Yeah.
another early fourth at worst.
And yeah,
You,
We actually technically did both.
Yeah,
We just used that early 4th to go and get a third.
exactly.
yes.
and yeah,
Um,
we mentioned it a couple times before you were on here, but like he loves using the 4th round picks as ammo to move up. And every draft that we've had, even when we haven't had a 3rd round pick, he's selected in the 3rd round.
Yep.
So
let's do something a little bit fun here. Let's go through edge and wide receiver, and I'm gonna give you a guy's name, and you're gonna tell me if a 3rd round pick would play over this player. Okay?
Okay.
Joey Bosa,
No,
No.
Greg Rousseau,
Nope.
no.
AJ Epinesa,
Nope.
Depending, but probably not.
Probably not.
Javon Solomon,
Maybe.
Maybe.
Michael Hoyt.
No,
No.
not when he's healthy.
Okay. My point.
Yeah.
All right, receiver. Shakir.
No.
No.
Keon.
Maybe.
Different type of receivers, so they'll probably be.
I think his training camp's going to tell us a lot about how they view him going forward to this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah,
I
I'm
could see
definitely
them
gonna get
trading,
some
like,
tickets to go to
Kyrie.
training camp this year. I haven't like cared as much in years past, but now that like I have like a Bills account and like Twitter and stuff, I'm definitely gonna go to try and make as much training camps as I
I'm
can.
Yeah.
planning
report
on going as well.
I
All
think
right,
me and
Palmer.
Caleb were talking about getting some
Palmer?
tickets. I would say no because of the money we gave him.
Yeah, not on Palmer because we just paid him $13 million a year, or it ends up
Samuel.
being like $9. Maybe.
I think yes
bet you
because of his injuries.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think we're expecting Samuel. All of us are expecting Samuel. I think it's out of desperation, by the way. But
So
I think everybody's
for
expecting him to be something he's never been, which is
so for
I-
wide
like,
receiver, you
I'm
guys have
expecting
said
him to be like a 600-yard receiver.
yeah,
Yes.
that's what he is though. That's what he's always been,
Yeah.
kind of. You know.
So
I
for
mean,
Yeah.
wide receiver, you
But
guys said
last year
two
he wasn't though,
possibilities.
so that's an improvement. That's
he
what I'm
got hurt.
saying.
Yeah.
Last year he wasn't. Yeah, he's always been a 600 to 800-yard guy. Last year he wasn't. I think it's due to injury. I think he gets back to that. I don't
Yeah.
think he's gonna ever be better than what he was. but
He's
I
just
think he
so
can get back to
linear.
that.
Like when he runs routes, I don't see any kind of like nuance to what he's doing. Like I don't see any deception in his routes.
So for wide receiver, you guys said two possibilities. I think
Oh, yeah.
three
He trades
because
up to
I
get
think
Ash and Gillette.
I think there's a real possibility they could flip flop between whoever we draft and Palmer, despite the money,
Mhm.
based on how productive Palmer is to be in the season. That's just me though. So
Can I interrupt this
if-
conversation real quick?
You're saying like the end of the season, yeah.
What's up, brother?
Do you guys have the main live stream up right now?
No.
Yeah.
No,
So
he never gave me
typed
the
in the
link.
chat. I typed in the chat basically saying like, Jim, give us a smile. You haven't smiled since we made the trade, and he just went off on the fucking.
Oh,
live
really?
He just
What
went
did he say?
off on the live stream.
Oh, he
What
didn't.
did
He didn't
he
respond to mine.
He basically was like, because they were already in a conversation about people needing to trade up and be aggressive, make their picks, and then he was like, "Oh well, the people who are drafting right now aren't going to be here for day 3, so I just wanted to make more picks today." And me and Randall are in it for the long haul. We got to make all these picks tomorrow, so I thought the value was better in the 4th than it was right now. And I was basically
I'll
like,
be here.
I wasn't
Was he
trying to
still
screw him
talking
over or
about it?
anything. I just think the value is better in the 3rd round.
I
agree.
just sent another one. I paused it, so I haven't caught up to it yet. But
I
I
see it.
basically said what we were talking about. That like we did the Bean thing, traded forwards for a 3rd, packaged them to get up to get a guy that he has
Yeah.
shown interest in. Like he targets guys he brings in for visits. He trades 4s and he gets 3s. That's we hit all 3 checkboxes. We
Yeah.
did the
Yes.
most predictive thing.
Yeah,
yet
because
so
we're
far.
supposed to be predictive of what we would do in
Right.
this draft, not what we would do, but like what.
Yeah,
we think
Jim was in
we-
love with the idea of how much value is at the 4th, but that's how Jim views it. It's not
Yeah.
what Bean typically does in drafts.
Yeah. I
Funny
actually
enough,
think
the way
Ford
this
is pretty
predictive,
slim.
the way this predictive like mock went, this is almost like exactly how I would have done it. The way everything fell, I probably wouldn't have done anything different. Like if I was doing it based on what I wanted to do, and it just happened to be very predictive. Also,
Yep.
The positions for me for sure. I don't know what I would have done.
I'm
in the
getting a
first round.
phone call, so I'll be back.
All right.
All right, cool.
Owen, would you? Well, wait, let me pause this here. Where, like time wise in the feed was it that the tirade started?
I gotta find it.
That's so funny.
I want to watch it myself.
I love when people go on tangents.
Well, we'll be
It's
tomorrow. We're all
beautiful.
going to be blocked from getting onto the site. We'll all be out of the chat. He's kicking us all out.
Y'all are permanently removed.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he's
It
definitely.
was
Alex
He's
is
definitely gonna
definitely on.
rewatch the stream that we're doing right now, and we'll definitely be getting messages about it tomorrow.
Well, okay. Well, even if
it was
he
5
disagrees
minutes
a
ago.
lot,
It was minus 5 minutes in the scrub bar.
so
even if he
so
disagrees a
around
lot,
like,
isn't
around like 1:15 about.
Yeah, mine's not set up to say the actual time. Hold on, let me.
Mine's in reverse too. What's it, 5? You said?
Yeah, it's probably like -6 at this point. Yeah.
Okay, -6. Let's go 6. I just wanted to
even if he disagreed, isn't the whole point of a mock draft like, yes, we try and be as predictive as possible, but isn't the whole point to have at least a little bit of fun?
Hey, can you hear this when I do this? Hold on. Can you hear this?
No,
No.
All right, I'm back.
no. Welcome back.
What did I miss?
Nothing really. We were just discussing. I was like, even if Jim thinks it was the wrong idea isn't part of doing a mock draft, at least to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I'm like, no one in their right mind, unless you get lucky as fuck, is gonna get all picks right. Like,
Yeah.
never happens.
Yeah, even like some of the like even 2022, one of the deepest drafts the Bills have had. We didn't hit on every pick. Elam was a miss.
Yeah,
Even like
Elam
our
was
7th
garbage.
rounder. And I forgot who even took in the 7th round, but he was a nobody, or I would have remembered him.
Like Alex Austin or
Okay.
something. Or...
Yeah, or the 2017 Saints draft is always known as being like crazy good, and some of their late round picks they missed on, and you're not going to hit on every pick. Every once in a while, you'll hit on a lot of your picks, and you have some crazy good class. But like usually, like every GM has like one of those, maybe two.
Yep.
Unless you're Howie Roseman, then it's like every other.
Yes.
I mean, he's the best GM of like recent memory.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, Jim's going off again because someone asked him how he was doing, and now he's going back to he's explaining his feelings now.
Jesus Christ.
I don't want to like piss him off or anything, but like
No,
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure
think
I tried to explain it to him. I tried to explain it like basically we were doing what we thought would happen in this situation. So like I said, I think he got caught up with what he liked on the board and what he wanted player X, Y, and Z, and thought that they could be grabbed in the top of the 4th with the picks we had, and the
yeah,
fact that we
I'm
got rid of
sorry.
the multiple 4ths are
world.
sacrificing that.
In
How many
no
folks did we get
world
rid
is
of?
Bean taking a linebacker over wide receiver edge first. In no world.
I just don't see it either because like
Yeah.
their linebacker has I think a 0% chance of making any impact unless we get crushed with injuries the first
Literally.
2 years.
I think
Even
he
more.
likes the 6 guys we got.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Well, I mean,
last year
I
we
wouldn't
had a
be
team-
opposed. I wouldn't be opposed to taking one day 3 to cut.
Yeah,
Caleb Spector,
late,
but
like 6.
like a Spector replacement. Like I'm not hating that, but like I'm assuming Pupal probably gets taken at 109 to make Jim happy tomorrow. But
Yay.
I mean,
but,
I
like
think
I can live with that.
I can live with it, but I'm like, I'd still rather an edge or whatever.
I mean, there's
like
not a lot of good edge
I'd rather
left.
double dip at
Safety.
D tackle or corner before I go.
I'd like to
linebacker.
look at some like safeties to fill the room.
I'll look at a safety. I could get down with that.
like a Bowman.
I mean, yeah.
Although,
You guys will
I do
have
like
the rain
Bowman.
tomorrow.
My guy unfortunately got taken, Mabuka, or
Yeah.
however you say his
Oh,
name.
Yeah, he wasn't
Makuba.
good before.
Makuba.
Not
Yeah.
Kuba.
Yeah,
How
I'm
many
assuming
people in
Randall
here
probably
have?
takes the trade over? What?
What'd you say, Owen?
What are you saying, Alex?
Oh, yeah,
I said
we're
I'm
getting
assuming
over.
Randall's probably taking trades over tomorrow since I won't be here.
Yeah,
Unless someone else wants to.
We're getting overrated by Jim so much tomorrow. He's gonna be like veto.
It's gonna boot.
How many people in
Every
this,
word, every name that isn't Pupal veto.
Veto.
What'd you say, Owen?
How many people in this call have watched Tonka Hemingway out of South Carolina?
I've watched a little bit.
I have not.
I have not.
He's an intriguing prospect.
I love Tonka Hemingway. So he's a 3 tech from South Carolina. He's my favorite double dip candidate.
Mhm.
He's like 285 to 290. He's bendy. He's twitchy. He's bendy. He's not the big strongest guy. Even before he played the second half of the season with a club on his hand. So like he was already not a great stack and shed run defender before that, and he was playing with one hand the majority of the season. But to be honest with you, it didn't really impact his run defense as greatly as most guys would, because the way he impacted the run was he would just shoot gaps and had the ability to like stop, plant, and bend upfield and like get guys as they're running past him a lot more. So he was someone who I felt like could be a rotational pass rusher at D tackle and isn't like a total liability in the run defense, especially in the Bills scheme where they're going to ask him to get upfield and fill gaps specifically instead of taking on blocks. So he's one of my favorite guys when it comes to like double dipping at D tackle.
Do you like Ty?
Yeah, I certainly like
You
him.
like him over Ty Robinson, who we had in for a visit this week?
I haven't watched him yet. I'm actually going to watch him tonight because I was watching Locked On Bills.
Yeah.
And Joe Marino gave Yeah, he gave a rundown of basically like the profile of Ty Robinson. It was something like I'm like, oh my god, that's getting me fired up. Like I would love to.
He's freaky. He's
I can't wait to watch. I can't wait to watch him.
They deploy him kind of like the Texans used to deploy J.J. Watt. It's the best way I can explain it. Like he's like he lines up all over the defensive line. It's pretty cool to watch. I mean, like I'm surprised he's not getting more love as a like a legit 3-tech chess piece.
Yeah, there's a couple D tackles I've watched because I was on for the draft presser. I was doing the D tackle and interior line episodes on Thursdays for like a couple months.
Yeah.
So my big board is my original big board had mostly D tackles and interior offensive line. So I've gotten 22 D tackles done, and
you don't
with guys going back. With guys going back, I've got 19 interior line done. But of the D tackles, I still have to watch Caldwell, Jordan Phillips, and now Ty Robinson. And CJ West too, because he went in the third.
I like all four of those players for a double dip. All those guys would love.
Yeah, I'm watch Tonka Hemingway, and you have to keep in mind he has that cast. He has like a club cast on his hand.
Yeah,
for like half the season, but he's electric. He's like, if you would tell me Aeneas Peebles in the third or Tonka Hemingway in the fifth, I'm slamming Tonka Hemingway in the fifth like every day.
I do really like Tonka Hemingway.
And I'm a Virginia
Jamari
Tech
Caldwell,
fan,
that's a good pick for Dallas
back.
at 92. They need like D tackles that can stop the run.
I loved Mozzie Smith coming out of Michigan. What did Dallas do to him?
I
don't know. Jerry Jones sucks.
He was all.
I
remember when he
forgot
came
about
out? He was really unproductive in college too. He was just like a freak athlete who could do like backflips and shit. And they were like, he shot up boards. But it's like he really wasn't that impressive in college either. I think it was more of just an athlete pick. It's like a Raiders pick, you know?
Yeah. I mean, when I watched him, I loved how he was able, because he had the strength on film. Like he wasn't converting it into tackles. It's like if you took Kenneth Grant and removed the production, that would have been Mozzie Smith for me. Yeah. He was like this dude who was like 330, could do the handspring backflip, like gymnastics routine. Yeah, it was like insanity.
Tyreek Hill shit.
Yeah, and he could do that 330, and he looked like he could move people. He was a people mover on film. Yeah. He just wasn't a play finisher.
That's the thing. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'll say, from what I understand from Dallas, and I was wondering if anyone else knew anymore, was that basically they kept fucking with what his play weight was. Like they weren't play weight, and that was what was keeping him back. I'll let you go in 1 second, but Ozzie Trapilo here at 93 to Baltimore is absolute steal. But go ahead.
Yeah. So I was just gonna say it was kind of a pivot, but that's the kind of problem I have with a lot of these edges in this draft. I see a lot of these guys like they got like the Mozzie effect, where it's like, man, I can see it. Shamar Stewart is gonna be a freak, but he's like, getting a sack and a half a year, 4 years in a row, and it's like, is he gonna be a freak in the NFL really, or is he just another one of these guys who are like remember Jason Owe, who's turned into a better player? But like he didn't get any sacks in college really either, but he's just like a freaky guy, I see a lot of guys like that, and that scares the hell out of me for going edge early. Other than Izaraku and Green.
Yeah, I have to preface this that I am an absolute sucker for, if you have like 33 plus inch arms and heavy ass hands, like Michael Williams, Swinson, Stewart, like I will fall in love with you like that. But for me with Stewart, I can't stand that A&M front when it comes to coaching wise, because they had studs. Like they arguably were more talented than that Ole Miss front that had Ivy, Uman Yellen, Nolan, and then Pigs.
Yeah,
Texas A&M had Shamar Stewart, Nick Scorton, Turner, and they had another guy that was draftable. Yeah, either this year or next year. And they got no production from any of them. Like going back and watching Scorton at Purdue, he's insane as a pass rusher.
Yeah,
and then you look at
Purdue.
At A&M, he packs out. It says he was still 290 at Purdue, but he looked different at A&M. Like they did a lot of cage rushing and asking them to stay in their lanes, which really limited their production. I don't think Stewart struggled to produce before that, so I don't know if it's as much a thing with him as it was for Scorton. But for that whole front, I'm kind of willing to just like toss the idea of that they didn't produce for Texas A&M last season out the window just because no one was able to.
Right, makes sense.
But yeah, Stewart is a freak. But he's definitely rawer than the gas station sushi is the joke. I'll say he's raw than gas station sushi, He's
I'm
running
gonna
gas
I'm gonna use
substitution,
that
but
one.
he's a top of the gas station steak.
That's a good one.
I feel kind of similar about Landon Jackson too. I think he's another one of those like it's going to have to put it. We're going to have to help him put it all together if we draft him. You know.
Yeah. What I kind of like that for an edge for the Bills in this year's draft, just because you have Bosa, you have Rousseau, you have Epinesa. You're really with your edge pick this year, because you have Solomon in year 2. You're adding a guy that you're hoping maybe can add in some plays, like in the Solomon role last year, where he came in sparingly to make plays. But you're getting this guy coached up so that way he's in your system for a full year. For when Epinesa eventually leaves and Bosa leaves, you have guys waiting in the wings to step in and take greater roles instead of having to sign guys off the streets like you do with Bosa or Hoyt.
Yeah.
So I think that would be where I'm. That's why I like guys like Swinson, like Oladejo, like we just talked about Landon Jackson, like those players that need some seasoning before they can be consistent starters. Those are the types of edges I'm looking for the Bills to draft here, just so that they can.
Right.
It's more
I
of a
like
2-year projection.
I like Swinson and Oladejo a lot more than Jackson. Jackson just personally, I mean, he's for some people, but he just bores me. Like I feel like
he's a Buffalo Bills edge, man.
Which pains me. Like
this
is
is
so
what we do.
Boring. He's like, I don't know. I want the upside. I think Swinson and Oladejo has the upside that Jackson does not. I think Jackson is AJ Epinesa 2.0.
I have 6 first-round grades in the edge room with Carter, Walker, Williams, Green, Stewart, and Scorton. And then I have another 6 in the second round with Umanmielen, Pierce, Jackson, Oladejo, Stewart, Izaraku.
Okay.
Wait, who are your top 6
love Mike Green.
again for your first round grade?
My top 6 is Abdul Carter at 1.
Okay.
Jalen Walker as an edge, but he's going to be more really, really specific to deploying there.
Yeah.
Michael Williams,
okay.
Mike Green, Shamar Stewart, and Nick Scorton are like my borderline 1-2s.
Okay. I got Shamar Stewart and Nick Scorton like right on the cusp of round 1. I have I love Donovan Izaraku. And then I did not put Walker on here. I had him in my linebacker group, but he's probably going to be an edge rusher. I agree. I grade
whenever I have guys like that, I'll grade them as like an edge and a linebacker, and then whenever one comes out as the higher grade, I put them under that on the board. So like he's probably be like linebacker 1 or 2 for me, but he's edge 2 anyway, so I just kept him at that.
Yeah, because he's linebacker 1 for me as well. I have him higher than Jihad Campbell.
Yeah, I haven't watched Campbell or Schlesinger yet.
I love Schlesinger. Yeah, he's awesome.
I have actually 4 guys loaded up in front of me to watch because I have those D tackles to watch, and then I have Campbell, Schlesinger, and then Kaiser and Bruner from Washington to watch for linebackers. Because Bruner and Kaiser have been guys they've been interested in.
Yeah, I like Kaiser as well. He's down my list. He's like 3, 4. Maybe even a 5th round. Then Schlesinger is my linebacker 3. I love him.
I've heard some good stuff about him.
Yeah. His favorite players are Milano and what does it say? Kuechly and Milano. Did Molly kick everybody out?
I have 4 current linebackers. I currently have 4 linebackers graded at the moment, just because that wasn't one of my focuses. After I went from D tackle and edge, I hammered a lot of the Bills' needs. So I got Smail Mondon Jr. from Georgia. He's a 3.
Yep.
Chris Paul Jr. is a high 4. Cody Lindenberg's a 5, and Dolak's a 6.
Okay. What is your what's your QB board look like, man?
So the caveat with that is I haven't done Shuck just because once I got through my initial watch of all the quarterbacks, I'm like, whatever. I don't really care about watching this Louisville guy. Now that he's getting talked about in the first round, potentially, I'm going to have to be able to talk about him. But like, I'm not looking forward to that. But for me, it's Ward. I've been on the Ward train since he transferred from Incarnate Word to Washington State. That first year, Washington State was electric. So he's been on my board since then. Then it's a significant drop to Shador and Dart, and then it's another drop to Milroe, Ewers, Rourke, and then another drop to McCord and Leonard. Those are my draftable grades.
Sorry, I lost you because Alex has 2 screens on right now.
Sorry, my AirPods died.
Say that again.
AirPods died, and I couldn't figure out a way to like get my other headphones connected. And like I was just having audio issues once my AirPods died, so I just decided to switch to my phone.
Oh,
It's pretty
so
trippy.
Hilarious.
say that again, Owen. Who are your top guys?
So I got Ward, and then there's a teardrop to Sanders and Dart,
Okay.
and then it drops to Milrow, Ewers, and Rourke,
Okay.
and then there's a drop to McCord and Leonard for me. And then I haven't watched Gabriel or Chuck or the Brosmer from Minnesota. That's another one that gets like a draftable grade occasionally. So those are some of the guys I haven't really checked into.
I'm just not a Sanders believer, man. I've got him as I actually have him as funny QB5.
He's high floor, low ceiling to the
Yeah.
point where I think that's why the Giants did what they did. That they knew that even if Sanders fell them at 3, what they would get from either Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston was equivalent to what Sanders would provide them.
Yep.
Especially at 3. So if I was them, I would do the same thing. I would have signed those 2 guys, drafted a blue chipper at 3, and then maybe traded back in the back half of the first for like Milrow or Dart. Even though I don't have them graded as such, I'd want those guys like the second. But just with like, I don't factor in positional value for my grades.
Yeah.
So like I have those guys graded lower, but predictively I'd want to grab one of those developmental guys, sit behind the 2 veterans, and then add a blue chipper to try to get some artificial wins outside of my quarterback position.
It's 80-1 odds for Jalen Milrow to be QB3 drafted.
That's actually pretty decent odds.
I take him all day just to see. He's getting a lot of heat right now, and I mean he's too athletic for them to I think for him to fall out of the first round. Unfortunately, I don't think he's a first round.
Yeah,
player.
but then so who's he getting drafted above between because Ward's going 1, and then you got Shador and then
Ward,
Dart,
Dart,
and Milrow.
or Milrow. I think that there may be somebody that values Milrow over Dart or Shador, one of the two. Probably not Shador because I think Shador's name value. But yeah, Pittsburgh would be one. I think they liked Fields. I just think that he didn't want to go back there because how he treated him.
I can see
Yeah,
it.
probably. Also,
So-
I don't. Who knows if they wanted to give him the money the Jets did?
I think that was the
They
issue was
won't
'cause
pay him 20.
he brought up that he got lowballed by the Steelers, and then he took more money with the Jets.
Yeah.
I
No,
bet
but
you
I
the
think they
Steelers
definitely
offered him
want that,
$6
like,
million.
big armed, athletic QB to go with their big bodied, athletic wide receivers.
And he
The
throws
only
a
problem
good
with that is
football.
if the Steelers draft him, who is he starting week 1 for them? Because if that's the case, I'm hammering the under on their wins for the season.
Yeah. I think that. Well, it depends
There
if
goes
Rodgers
Pooh
goes.
Paul.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, no.
Alex is fired.
No, funny enough, the Colts traded back up with, I'm assuming, some of our picks to go get him.
Oh.
I saw it on the TV. I had to mute to turn my TV up for this.
Turn it. I want and let us know if it says anything.
Yeah, let us know what he says.
Unless you can
Also,
get it
That is so funny.
Also,
Oh,
for anyone
no.
in here, I have me and some of my buddies are starting up a dynasty league this year
I'm
for
in.
the first time, and we have 2 spots for whoever
in.
wants to join. Who?
I-
Who?
Me.
Oh, okay, Alex.
I
Okay,
want to
you
play
follow
as
me,
much
right? You
fantasy
can message
football
me.
as possible. I'm already in like 8 leagues, and I want to be in as many as I can.
Okay.
It's my number one hobby.
Shoot.
Okay. Hold on.
Are you cool with a buy-in or no? Because it's
Yeah,
15.
no, that's fine.
Okay,
I'm already in like $250 for the buy-ins, and I'll continue to add to it.
fair enough. Just wanted to
Yeah,
make
I'll
sure.
just DM me on Twitter or whatever with the information.
Yep, doing it right now. It's on Sleeper.
All right.
Yeah,
That's the perfect app. That's what like all my leagues are on, so it's easy.
Is he saying anything?
I mean, they moved over it pretty quick. Like, he's just like cool.
He said Indy sniped him and he laughed and like did like a chuckle. So
With our picks, we should put that in the chat. Indy took it with our picks.
Because they traded up. I want to see which of 9. I want to see what other
This is an entertainment business, isn't it? Everyone's here to see crash outs these days.
Yeah, I'm gonna look and see exactly what which picks they use because they moved up like 15 spots or something.
That is so fucking funny.
Yeah. Like it was already funny, but then the fact that it was with our picks makes it just even better.
Sometimes the jokes just write themselves.
Yeah.
pretty funny.
All right.
They gave
Alex, I
up.
sent
They
you
gave
the
up
message.
109. It was 109 and 169 to the Browns. That was
So
both of
109
our
was our
picks.
pick.
2 of our picks. Yeah, it was 2 of our picks. It was.
So we
yeah.
have one spot left in case anybody wants to join besides Alex.
Wait, did your access just get expired by Jim?
Yes.
No, he didn't. No way. That can't be accurate.
But reload this document to gain access. If you still don't have access, contact the document owner.
Oh, I just realized.
Paul got
that.
drafted. He kicked you out, bro.
What happened?
Oh, I got access. It might just be that he refreshed it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I reloaded and I'm good.
Yeah, I'm
Huh?
back in.
It's still here.
It's a lot funnier if it wasn't though.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. It'd be pretty funny if he just kicked you out.
I mean, that's how it works in like the real life too. Is like you can love a guy and take him out to dinner as much as you want, but you get like you can show as much interest as you want in a guy, but another team will know that too. Like they're
And then
gonna
the
they
Raiders
like the
just
guy
took
too.
Isaac Tesla.
Oh, god damn it!
I told Randall, I said, tell Jim I was not part of that trade. I didn't get into the room until pick 80.
Yeah, you got
and
in
Rand-
like right after we made the
Yeah.
trade.
Then Randall goes, "Will do." How did that come about? Votes and stuff? I was just like, I guess everybody was in consensus in the war room. I don't know. I wasn't in here. But that's the truth. Like
they'll
everybody
watch it back
100%.
and basic every time I had like a trade offer, I discussed it with everyone, and then we were all like, "Are we good with it?" And we all decided on yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a majority rules kind of thing, I thought. We got vetoed yesterday for Amos instead of Grant.
Yeah.
I mean, it just happens. I'm sure that's how.
That was my bad, guys. I was the veto, so I was the swing vote on that one.
No, it wasn't. There's no swing. It was 5-2. Because it's me and one other. It was me and Alex's partner. What's your Caleb? Yeah, we're the only ones who took one at Amos, and everybody else. We thought
everyone else wanted Grant. All right.
Yeah, we
So then
thought
we
it was.
still got
We
Amos
were already
voted.
outnumbered. And then he said 5-2, and I was like, "Who the hell are the other two voting on this?"
We made up for it.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
got
it was Owen and Jim.
It was tricky for me with that one because Grant isn't historically what they look for in one text. Like Harmon and Farmer are going to be what they look for more so in their one text. Same with like I'm assuming Ty Robinson. Like I said, I haven't watched him yet, but
Yeah.
those are going to be guys like so.
He's a little
in-
light though. He's like 290. He's not that big.
Yeah. Well, so I'll toss in Alexander too because he's the same size as Harmon. They're both like 6'3", 6'4", 305, 310.
Yeah.
Those guys they're going to be. They can take on blocks and have power in their hands and be solid run defenders, but they excel more in and they can be gap shooters specifically while still having size. So it's weird for me because I'm like, do I want to take Grant because I think he's the best pure nose tackle? Like those other guys, I think could play other positions as well, but
Yeah.
Grant is like this rare blend of like size and speed at nose
He can do
tackle
both.
specifically. So it's like, I would take him over those other guys, but like, is that what the Bills like? Would they rather take Amos there or trade back and get Amos at the top of the second and then grab Landon Jackson and Joshua Farmer with their next 2 picks and then that's their haul on day 2 kind of thing?
Yeah, and then if you
Predictively.
think about it, predictively, a lot of those other guys can't really do like you're like Grant's physically able to do lots of things versus those
Right.
guys will have limitations on the upper end when it comes to playing one tech. You're going to have to work around them a little bit, kind of like Daquan was last year. It was,
Yeah. What's hilarious though is even in that situation where I just said like they trade back, take Amos, then take Farmer and Landon Jackson with their other seconds.
Mhm.
In that scenario, I'd still think Bean would trade his 4th to go up to the 3rd to grab like another guy.
Yeah, Harmon's 313. I mean, he's in the Daquan Jones size range. I think he's actually that's like prototype one tech, what we look for, like range 310, 315, I was just looking at it. I like
Because
Harmon.
when I think both of them during playing weights, they were both let me look at this. Yeah, so Alexander was listed on Toledo as 6'4", 310, and Harmon was listed as 6'5", 310. I know Alexander weighed in, I think, a little less. Let me pull it up
305.
now. I have-
305.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, 305.
Which
And then,
5-pound swing isn't isn't crazy.
That's not hard to make up, right? Maybe he did that
Yeah.
lighter just to run a little bit. I mean, 310's perfectly fine. 305 is kind of the borderline. But I mean, if we need to put him on 5 pounds of muscle, you could do that in the summer.
Yeah. A gallon of water. If you drink a gallon of water in one day, you'll gain 8 pounds. Like that's the difference.
Crazy, right? Yeah, that's crazy. And he did 28 bench reps at that weight with 34-inch arms. That's pretty damn good.
He's a beast.
Yeah, and
I love Alexander.
Grant
What
only
pick
did
are we on?
22.
Are we almost? We're almost at the end of round 3. Okay.
Yeah, we got like 4 picks left.
I was about to say, I'm like, Jesus.
No, I think the Giants just wait. Was it the Vikings or the Giants that were just reported?
The Vikings were just reported.
Oh, okay.
Lathan Ransom. Love Lathan Ransom.
I really like that if they got Ransom. That's the perfect replacement for Bynum.
Do you know who I'm surprised
Yeah.
is higher on people's boards? That should be Cody Simon.
He was in my list of guys to watch. I haven't got. I was supposed to do an episode with a podcaster for the draft professor that covers Ohio State right before their national championship game.
Yeah, my
And
Buckeyes.
I ended up getting a throat issue, but I was supposed to. I had him. That's why I had watched Hancock and Burke and Henderson and all those guys leading up to it. But I never got around to Simon because I knew after a while I wasn't going to be able to make it. But
Yep.
he was someone I've been curious about that I just haven't gotten around to.
Who?
Cody Simon.
Oh, yeah.
Love Cody Simon.
He's a
Basically,
he's
I
a
mean,
physical
I'm
prototype.
biased because I love everyone from Ohio State.
No,
But
he's the type of linebacker that we typically target. A little bit undersized,
yeah. Mhm.
good in coverage. quick.
And he was a team captain.
Yep. He's the kind of player that we could get in round 5 and feel pretty good about 4, maybe even.
Yeah,
I'd say 5.
that could be someone we take at like pick 70,
Yes.
70.
Wait, what?
170.
Good Lord, man. That's high as shit. Yeah, I think so. I think it's about the range for him. And for
Yeah.
him where the value for us is.
And the
Those
fact that
backers.
that Jim's crush has gone in Poopal.
Yeah, I saw that come off the board, and I was like, "Oh wow, here we go."
And then the fact that it was with Indy used our picks to trade up and get him.
Oh, it's poetic. It's so good. I love it.
I mean, Birch is still on the board. I think that should realistically be the target for.
If Birch is still there,
If he's still
I'd
there
be
at
happy with that.
108, we dished 109, right?
Yeah.
Should- Should we ask Jim tomorrow who he prefers at linebacker if he wants one that's not Poop Hall now that's gone?
If I had to guess, it's going to be Dolak. He's going to say Dolak.
No, now
That's
he's
way
gonna
too
say
early.
fuck all of you, do whatever you want. I'm done with y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, we may know. He pretty much he's like, yeah, people that do that won't be invited back next year. That's what
Do you
he
think-
said to me, Alex, and Ryan before the show started. I mean, I don't know. Please,
I wasn't on then. That's the other Alex. Do you think Dolak's getting drafted?
Yes.
I think 100%
At
he's
some
going to.
point, yeah. I think it's probably day 3. But
he's definitely-
Talbot was tweeting about him today that he was at Buffalo's pro day and the Bills pro day, and he balled out again. So
that was my question. Is like, is he? Are we hyped about him because he's from Buffalo? And is the rest of the league is privy to it, or is it just because we have it kind of in a vacuum and like
we
like,
probably knew
draft.
about him first, but at this point the secret's kind of getting out, I would say.
Yeah.
So the reporting from UB's pro day was that a bunch of the scouts that were there, because there were a ton of scouts there because they did not only did they showcase some of the UB guys, which outside of Dolak there wasn't many like notable names for the draft.
Yeah.
They brought in a bunch of local like D2 schools and then top Canadian prospects as well. So like the Canadian quarterback that was down at the Senior Bowl was throwing at UB's pro day. So every team had a scout there.
Yeah.
And the reporting, at least I saw on Twitter coming out of it, was that a lot of scouts heading into that pro day thought Dolak was going to test really poorly, like run 4.9 and not jump really well.
Yeah, I didn't think that.
So when he ran what he ran and he tested as well as he did, he got like, I think he was in the 8s for RAS. A lot of teams left that pro day saying they're going to have to go back and rewatch the film now with this information that he's a better athlete than what they originally thought.
What did he run?
I think it was like 4.5 something.
Oh, that's good. That's fine.
Let me see if I have it on my list here.
It's like faster than
So he was
Carolina.
6 foot 223 with 30-inch arms, 938 hands. Or he ran 4.63. That's what it was. 4.63. He was a low 4.6.
That's still fine.
And then he had 25 reps on the bench, 35.5 vert, 10 foot broad, 4.22 shuttle, 6.93 three cone with an 8.83 RAS.
Oh, those agility scores are great.
Yeah, the only thing that brought him down was his size, which was going to be that's kind of evident when you watch him.
He's Bernard's size.
Yeah, athletically, it was. I'm sure the question was he looking athletic because he was playing against MAC level competition, or was he just genuinely that athletic of a guy? And people like us at UB knew how he was watching the practice every day, but like it was kind of we need to confirm it translates universally. And since he didn't get invited to any of the Senior Bowl or the Combine or anything, there was no real way to show that until the Pro Day, which is why he got a bump when that came around.
I think his numbers are very close to Terrell Bernard. I mean, I think Terrell Bernard didn't run any faster than that either. I think he was.
I got mock draftable up right now. I can look it up.
I'm actually going to pull up his combine. Hold on.
Talbot said earlier, this is just from Twitter, that Dulac is generating interest across the league. He's had over 10 Zoom meetings and 7 personal meetings, lunch or dinner with NFL teams.
How many bench reps did he do? 25?
25.
And he says shuttles 4.2?
Oh, there goes Sawyer.
Yeah, 4.22.
All right, so we have 22 from Bernard, and then 4.25 from Bernard, and the 7.03 cone drill, 3-cone, 10'3" broad. Yeah, he beat him on that. 10'3" broad, so he's got 3 inches on him there, but 35.5 vert. I think that's exactly the same, right?
Yeah, exact same.
Same weight, pretty much, 224 and 6'1". So actually, proportionally, Dolak's bigger or thicker for his height because he's an inch shorter. And I don't know what he ran though. Hold on, Pro Day.
Bernard or Dolak?
Bernard. I'm just trying to look to see if I can find his Pro Day results real quick too. He ran. Oops. Oh my god.
There it is. Last pick is in.
Oh, Nick Nash. Oh, Detroit's
Nick
really
Nash.
weak on guys.
Nick Nash in the third. They took Dylan Fairchild.
Nick Nash. That's early for Nick Nash.
I have a 7th on Nick Nash.
Yeah, like that's really early. Like I didn't even draft.
Daniel Jeremiah had him tied with Torrey Horton as like wide receiver. Like,
oh god, no, way better.
But
Torrey Horton's way better.
Yeah, Nick. So I wasn't gonna watch Nick Nash because I was watching guys like Thornton and other speedsters specifically for this Bills mock draft.
Did Torrey Horton go?
And I got
he's gone.
Yeah,
he went right after us.
Okay.
Very next pick.
Nash is like he's like, why would you draft Nick Nash over Pat Bryant?
Yeah. Wait,
Like, Nash was a converted quarterback. I get that. So like, there's some untapped potential, but at the same time, like Bryant does way more after the catch and as a blocker than Nash ever could.
I mean, hey, let people reach. Fine by me.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, I won't be here tomorrow, but I think. I mean, there's still a few picks here. I think Burt should be the target with the next pick.
who?
I
Yeah,
might
he's
have to
definitely
join
one
this
I'm keeping
tomorrow.
my eye on.
What did you say?
I might have to join the thing tomorrow just to talk to Jim, see how he's doing, how he's holding up.
I was saying Birch should be the target for the.
Oh yeah. I agree with that. I think.
Yeah,
Somewhere-
he's
somewhere in
on
that
he's on my top targets.
So
list.
what should we target tomorrow early? Because we're coming up pretty quick.
Edge, safety, then double dip at either corner or D tackle.
Okay, so no linebacker.
I mean, if one fell,
I think
I'd be fine.
I
with
think
it.
we should consider, is Noel Williams and Ty Alexander gone?
I think is Zai still there?
I think they both are.
I love
Zai doesn't have a great athletic profile, but I like his technique. Is just
He has a good Bills
is
profile,
elite.
though.
He's got elite technique. He's just 4'6".
He's the definition of a Bills profile.
Yeah. Oh, nine corners went. It was Hunter, Will Johnson, Jade Barron, Trey Amos, Revel, Porter, Morrison, Parrish, Hairston. That's the only corners that
Okay,
went.
so all those guys are left. So we might be able to wait on
Yeah.
that a little bit to double dip. because there's a pretty decent amount of them still there.
Yeah, because even then further on the board, you got like guys like Burke. You got Jabbar Muhammad. Dorian Strong is still there.
Yeah, I love Dorian Strong. Actually, I have a better grade than I have him as a 3rd round grade.
I do too. Yeah.
I'm a Virginia Tech fan, so that's why. But I like his tape too.
Enter
Pay attention to him
Sandman.
more. Yeah, it's the best intro in football, man. Although we
Agree.
suck.
They need it. They need it in the college football game this year.
Yeah, and we suck, but it's a cool intro.
Y'all
You're
were
great.
I want to
decent
go
like
to
a couple
Virginia
years ago
Tech
now.
just to like experience that.
So what? Enter Sandman?
Yeah.
It's live, dude. Like they broke like a decibel record there for noise like a couple years back.
That intro is so good.
Yeah, everyone in the stands jumps. It's a really cool event. It's Virginia Tech's atmosphere is as close as you can get to a SEC atmosphere without being the SEC for tailgating and stuff.
Yeah, I want
I
to go
will
to
throw
like,
Buckeyes in there. I lied, but though she was amazing.
It doesn't. It's not the same vibe though as your Big Ten because SEC and Big Ten, ACC all have kind of a different vibe. ACC is usually pretty lame. Tech has a definitely distinct Southern feel to it versus like your Big Ten.
I love VTech. Yeah. VTech is sick.
So I mean, not better or worse than those, but like it vibes very closely to SEC. I should have said.
Bell's rivalry is Virginia, right? Because I remember watching that like every year, rooting for you
It's
guys.
the last
'cause
game
I
of the
fucking
year.
hate Virginia.
Thanksgiving. It's the stupidest game ever.
Yeah.
We destroy them every year.
I want to go down to like some big D1.
Except for when they
I
had
almost went
Will
to
Greer, right?
Gators Alabama game when I was like driving through on my way to Fort Lauderdale. It was like on that Saturday. My friends just didn't want to pay didn't want to go there even though tickets were like super cheap. I was so mad.
Yeah, because those stadiums are Big Ten's huge too, but I mean you got massive stadiums. They're way bigger than NFL stadiums.
It ended up being like a really close game. Florida only lost by like 2 points or whatever. And I was so mad that they didn't.
I remember when people thought my school was gonna get bounced, and we won the national championship game, so everyone can go fuck themselves.
I thought y'all would get bounced too.
I feel the same way. I'm a Gators fan for basketball.
Yeah,
there you go.
Plays the Gators at the Swamp next year. I think like week 2.
I've been a Gators fan since Tim Tebow, and then I decided to just adopt him for all sports.
Was USF was playing there?
Next year, yeah, we open. We play. I live in Tampa. I'm right down the street from Raymond James, where both USF and the Bucks play.
Is Florida going to be any good next year?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have Legway.
They should be a ranked team.
But we open with
threat.
Legway is going to be nice.
Yeah, Lagway, and they also They're returning almost like everyone. They don't have a lot of guys like
Washington,
like drafts or graduating.
Wish us luck though, because we start against Texas.
Like Lagway didn't lose a single game that he
OSU and Texas to start the season.
Last year he didn't lose a single game.
This was for Ryan.
They lost all their weapons though.
Oh no!
They didn't lose all their weapons. They got guys back from injury, returning their whole line. Like usually, Wilson was injured all last year. He's their best guy. He'll be back.
You scared the hell out of me. At first, I thought that was Kyle McCord.
It's Carleek, right?
Cardell Jones is a
Cardell. Carleek. Who's Carleek? Okay. Carleek is a basketball player. Sorry.
Cardell.
I'm a Huskies fan. When I back in like that was who got me into like draft stuff was back in like 2016. The Jake Browning, John Ross, Dante Pettis, Washington Huskies with Vita Vea on defense. And Buda Baker and Marcus Peters had a stud team.
Why do you have a Cardell jersey then?
So it was that was the 1-2 combo. So Cardell was 2015 draft. I was like 13, 14 when that draft was coming around. And I would get the magazines and I was like, oh, Bills suck. They need a quarterback. So EJ had just gotten done with like his first or second year and he was terrible. So I just found the biggest dude in the back in like the rankings they did before the preseason, and it was Cardell Jones, like 6'5", 250. Huge. You watch highlights of him. He's running. It was right after they won the Natty after he won those 3 starts.
Yeah, he won.
So I fell in love with him. And then they drafted him in the 4th round, and I like lost my shit because I was like, oh my god, the guy I wanted, they drafted. And it was like that feeling that kind of unlocked it. And then the next year it was. I was watching Washington, or I was watching like different draft boards, and one of them was like a stock exchange type thing where it was like John Ross went from it was like plus 999 spots because he was off the board to like 10th overall, and like after a couple weeks, so I was like, who the hell is this guy? And then I ended up watching Washington play, and then I fell in love with their colors and like the players they had in the team there, and that team that year was really good. So I started watching them as a fan, but it was Cardell Jones and John Ross that got me into like drafting our draft media stuff, and that's what got me kicking the can down the road on this. So those are the two guys I have jerseys of. I have other random ones of just I had a thing where I would buy the Bills jersey of whoever my favorite pick of their draft class was and get it signed. So I have a signed Harrison Phillips jersey. I have a signed Cody Ford jersey. Those were some random ones. Yeah, I was trying to avoid first round picks. So I
Cody
picked
Ford is
Phillips.
like my least favorite Bills player ever. Ever since that Jacksonville game in 2021, I've never hated anyone more than Cody Ford. Watching that game, I almost vomited. I could have stood there with my arms out like a scarecrow and probably done a better job than him.
Yeah.
Never forget who he took Cody Ford over. DK Metcalf.
A bunch of different guys.
I wanted DK in the first. That pissed me off.
I'm fine with Ed Oliver. I think Eddie's been good, but I get what you mean.
No, that was a different draft. Ed Oliver was 29. Wait.
No, that was 9th overall was the Bills with
Eddie. Yeah, and then we traded up to get Cody Ford at the beginning of the
season. Okay, then it was our second. Never mind. Yeah. Why did I think?
I wanted us to get AJ Brown, so like I get what you mean.
That was me too. I was worried about DK's neck injury.
I just didn't trust DK Metcalf at the time to be good enough of a separator and like a route runner to win in the NFL. While AJ Brown, I didn't have that issue with, but DK ended up being pretty good. But
I was in love with Jerry Jeudy, and then we traded that first for Diggs, so I couldn't really hope for that one.
He didn't fall.
That draft, anyway, Justin Jefferson was my guy.
Mine was T. Higgins.
Justin Jefferson was definitely my biggest hit ever as a wide receiver scout. Like Jefferson was my ace in the hole.
My biggest one was probably I had Puka Nacua with like a high second round grade.
Hey, there you go.
And that was once all those things before was when I was just kind of watching highlights. That was when I started watching film, and I watched his film, and I was like, this dude's a fucking stud.
It makes me mad that we never get those guys that are wide receiver. Like we got.
It balances out that I was. I'm like when it comes to guys who are super athletes like that, I'll only go up to like certain levels, like round 2, round 3. Which works out great when it's Puka and you get a super athlete who doesn't have a lot of production, but you bank on that and he's around 2 grade and he turns out to be awesome. Then it hurts because you have Brian Thomas Jr. as around 2 grade and then he's a stud in his rookie year.
I had Brian Thomas from February. I mean, not February, from like November. I was like, he's like my wide receiver 3 for the draft.
Yeah.
He ended up moving. He wasn't there at first. Actually, he was like more in the second round kind of grading, and he just started when he ran that.
We were called crazy, Alex. We were called crazy.
I was called crazy. Like, yeah, he's never gonna go in the first round.
But, I was on the trade up for BTJ train all last offseason.
I was going to say, Justin Jefferson's an interesting hit because Jefferson was a good college player, but he never really played in the outside on college. He was always in the slot.
Yeah, it was all about projection, which I thought he was going to be able to play on the boundary.
Yeah, he really had the feet and the movement skills to do it. Yeah, I mean, he had a great release thing too.
Yeah, the only reson he didn't play, he played in the slot in college is because they had Jamar Chase.
Yeah, Chase, and they had a ton of weapons. Who was the other guy? Terrace Marshall was there too.
Terrace Marshall.
The way like LSU and Ohio State just produced wide receivers is just disgusting.
Yeah, we had Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, and JSN in one room.
Like LSU has like 4 top
Jeremiah Smith on that roster,
arguably.
No, he's
and then Ohio State has like 7 or 8 like Pro Bowl caliber guys.
We also had JSN and Marvin Harrison Jr. in the same as well. Terry,
Debo.
Terry.
Wait, no, not Debo. No, I was thinking
Curtis Samuel.
Olave.
Buka this year.
We have a good history with.
Buka this year. Jeremiah Smith in 2 years.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
I'll never forgive our field goal kicker because the year we had Stroud with Olave, Wilson, and
Harrison. And Ibuka.
JSN and Harrison Jr.
And
Ibuka. Jesus, that's 5 first round picks.
Well, JSN didn't play that game. Remember, he
was hurt.
Prepare for the draft.
Hey guys, I got to kick off. I had a good time. What
Peace
time
out,
is it
brother.
tomorrow? What time is it tomorrow?
6:15.
That's a gym question.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll
Alex,
reach out to him for me and let me know how it goes.
Yeah,
Alex, I sent you
ended, so I'm heading out probably too.
All right, guys.
Yeah,
Alex, I sent you the info for the draft. If any of you guys are interested in joining the dynasty, just let me know. Twitter, I'm in the Bills War group chat, so just let me know.
All right, guys.
Good night, guys.
All right, peace out, y'all.
I'll talk to you guys all later.